Way.
You'll have to tell us a little bit about what you do because we don't know a whole lot about you yet.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been into cannabis. Yeah, it's all good. I've been dealing with you know, the ins and outs of the cannabis industry since I've been you know, a solid 14 years old. I'm turning 41 this year. So like on all the prohibition, illegal side of things, and you know, I've experienced all the bullshit that comes along with that. And then now we're trying to get into the legal part, which is, you know, the hardest part of it all here in the States for sure. So,
yeah.
Are you guys in the States, or are all you guys up in Canada?
Okay, I'm from Canada, and Cariboo, our illustrious leader, he's from Canada, and then everybody else from the States. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see in Illinois. That's where I'm at right now, and Illinois has like the hardest application process in the United States right now.
Yeah. I know in Canada, usually we, me personally, I have to hire to fill out my application because you're guaranteed to, most people that fill out an application get it sent back, and so these people are professionals, and they make sure it's done right the first time. They know how to give the answers that the government wants to hear.
Right.
Hey guys, we're getting some feedback from somebody's arrangement here.
It would. Okay, Hype just went on mute. Everybody.
Salvatore, are you on YouTube as well?
No. Oh, you mean
No.
do I have a channel or something?
No. Are you on it right now? Because
No, no.
watching YouTube.
No, I don't hear anything either.
No? I'm gonna go on mute. Hold on. Rick, you go on off of mute and start talking.
Prophet, the minute you went on mute, it went away.
Okay, so I just went on mute and it did go away, but I certainly don't hear any sounds here.
It ain't me.
Hearing things, or not hearing things. But it is me, isn't it?
How many devices you got going, Rick?
How many delays?
Devices.
I only have the one right now.
All right, somebody's running two devices and basically streaming the show so we can hear ourselves through it. That's what's going on.
It does appear that I'm the culprit. I don't understand though.
No, go on mute. Go on mute. I'll talk and you'll still hear it. You can still hear me talking. It's not me. I'll go on mute. You can unmute and start talking.
Okay, this is a test. It's out there.
Salvatore, go on mute.
I'm still hearing it. It doesn't seem to matter who's talking. I'm still hearing it.
There it is. I didn't want to point him out, but I knew he was kind of the culprit. He's new to this room. All right, so what you're gonna have to do is you got to turn the volume down on whatever it is that you're talking to us on, because you're picking up.
To us on.
He's picking up feedback from us.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Much better.
Okay. I just turned the volume down on my phone.
Yeah. All right, okay. We're back in business.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it was picking up the volume coming out of your speaker and putting it through your microphone. It was like double sending it out.
Is that fine still? I just turned it back up a little bit so I could hear. Is that fine?
Yeah, can you hear us?
It's still good.
Yep.
Okay, we can live with that.
Cool.
So, Rick, did you introduce our guest yet?
Well, I said just about
and
everybody.
You got it all figured out, and no one decided to say anything. All right. Yeah.
Is this the panel? Beef was up there running his mouth. He didn't show up today.
He's in chat.
Okay. Good job, producer.
Or it's just me.
He'll be here. Yeah. So we'll. Yes, I was trying to get in some informal introductions to Sal before we get started, but we'll do it all again at 6 or 9, whatever time it is in your part of the world. We'll do it
Oh, we are a little early, aren't we?
at the top. Yeah, yeah. Now you're the man to flick the magic switch to make us go live.
We're already live, man. Caribou set that up before he walked out.
It doesn't show on my screen. Normally, up in the corner, it tells us if when we're live. And
It says live on YouTube right here on mine.
Yeah, I got it too. It's live.
Okay.
That's live.
I'm live. Yeah, I got it too on mine.
Okay, well then.
You're here, Rick. You're live.
Oh, geez. Did I mute that fart that I just? God damn. Okay, well then. Oh, okay. Now it says we're live on YouTube. Oh, there's something else about streaming or something, but I'll accept that. I'll accept that. Morning, everybody. Well, let me throw the ball to you, Prophet, and you get things rolling. I'm going to go grab my my iPad so I can watch it on YouTube.
I think since we got Indica here, and he tends to be the best one to do the introduction, I think we should let him do the intro. You know, smash that like button. Glad to see you guys. You do it perfectly, man. We just couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, I'll get it going. Absolutely. I don't mind. Good morning, everybody, man. Welcome to Caribou TV Live. I'm glad everybody's here to join us this morning. We got the panel here as usual. We got a special guest in the house. Good morning, Sal. How we doing, brother?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, man. We're pumped to have you, bro, and can't wait to hear more about you. Yeah, I just want to thank all the people in chat this morning. Good morning. If you can, go hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go subscribe. And yeah, I'm doing well, guys. I missed everybody. I haven't been here in a while. I've just been really busy. I'll get some pictures up this afternoon. But we reset flower rooms, reset veg area, and next weekend I got some people coming out, and we're gonna build a 10-foot wide by 20-foot hoop house, fully framed, doors on it, you name it. So yeah, and I'm smoking on some lemon Jeffrey I harvested a few weeks ago out of the garden. It's fucking killer, man. It's got me going like a fucking ninja all day. I love it. So the pain, I mean, it cures all the pain. It's good shit. So shout out to Rasta Jeff, man, for fucking killing it and always putting out good beans for everybody, man. Thank you. And yeah, I'll pass it to Uncle Rick. Let him say a little something, and we'll get it moving. So cheers, everybody.
Okay, good morning, folks. Welcome and cheers. Great to see a great turnout already. And yep, so with the exception of starting off with burning my toast this morning, it's all good. It's all good. Gonna get into some crunchberry kush today. Looking forward to that, and really looking forward to getting to know you better, Sal. And at this point, I'll kick the ball down the court to Drizzt. Who I caught off guard.
Yeah, you caught me off guard. I was trying to find a dab bell, but we'll get there. Anyway, it's just another day here in my world. I got my plants transplanted this morning. I haven't taken any pictures yet because I didn't get done until just about time to get on here. But we'll get some pictures out there later on today. Smoking on some shredder with some Cherry Mac diamonds on the top. And that's about all that's going on here today. On to the next one.
You see that, Johnny? I let you in here. I got the power to do that. That's almost like exhilarating.
It's kind of scary.
It is.
Who is that man?
Love the hairdo, man, or lack thereof.
Looking good, Johnny.
Morning, Johnny. How we
Morning.
doing, man?
I had to take my boys yesterday to the barber shop. So I got the summer cut.
Looking good. Looking good. Hype, you're still working your butt off there. How you doing, man?
Always well. Thanks for asking, Rick. Glad to see everybody today. And yeah, I'm just doing some watering. I will eventually be smoking on some 1-to-1 again, so I can be present. But
Like you make
otherwise,
us look bad. You always are
why?
working. Like you're always working. It's like the rest of us are sitting here talking and you're constantly fucking working, man.
Well, all this is after taking like 3 weeks off and 4 weeks off and not being able to plant and wanting to plant. So now I'm finally getting to play.
I'm glad you see you didn't let it interrupt the showtime though. It's good to watch too, you know, lets the people know that we actually do kind of grow cannabis here. We're not just running our mouths, stealing pictures offline,
Yeah.
posting them.
Hey,
Exactly. It's not.
Not to
If
be-
anything, there's no question. I grow cannabis. Like, let it be known.
Fluffy, good morning, sir. Good to see you, my friend. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just hanging out, trying to wake up. Really, I'm not quite awake yet over here. Getting my coffee in. Got to get something good in to smoke and then I'll be ready to hit this.
Okay, I don't want to wake you up too much. Tell us a little bit about that bud behind you there.
What, behind me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's old stuff, man. That was bud from my no-till garden that got taken down a couple weeks ago now. It just now is dried and I need to get it trimmed. It was about ready to be trimmed a day or two ago, but I'm gonna start on that here this week. It'll be yummy.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And to our guest of honor, Sal, good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure to meet you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure to meet all you guys. I'm sitting here trying to keep up with all the names. So
Just
yeah,
cheat,
like I was
man.
saying,
Our names are at the bottom of the screen. It's real easy to cheat because I'll forget too, and I'll be like, "Oh wait, that's so and so."
Yeah. So like like I was saying, I've been in the cannabis industry since I've been 14 years old, turning 41 this year. From just street hustling to growing, and then actually trying to legitimize everything that I know and have gained all the knowledge throughout the years. I've experienced it all, from being arrested, probations, fines, jail, government seizures. Like I've experienced the prohibition to the fullest. And then now, so we the group I'm working with, it's small, it's family, everything's family owned. And in Illinois, if you've been arrested, they consider you if you've been arrested for cannabis, they consider like social equity. So Illinois was like one of the first states in the United States to try to implement social equity programs into the cannabis industry. We had a big failure, but they're trying to fix it as we speak. Because obviously social equity people who've been affected by cannabis should really have a first shot before big corporate does. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're just in the application process, just trying to get some things moving forward.
Wow, that's cutting edge, man. That's not like that's the last thing they'd even dream of suggesting in Canada. Yet it makes so much sense for crying out. Who knows more about cultivating cannabis than a convicted felon, for God's sakes? That should be on your resume.
Preach, preach.
Your resume, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's
I
the
always
thing.
say
That's
that
what they wanted to do, but that's not what they did because they set the price bar so high that none of those people who knew what they were doing could afford to do it. So
correct. Yeah, I had to go raise a couple $1 million just to be able to get into the game, and that's just to apply. That's not guaranteeing me a win. That's just to make my application look like it's actually feasible and will work.
Yeah, that's just to see if you can jump in the kiddie pool and swim with the fishes.
Yeah, that's just to get a lottery ticket, basically. Yeah. So like I always say, too bad when I was 14 years old starting off, too bad they didn't make me an entrepreneurial instead of a criminal. you know, because who knows where I'd be at right now. I mean, but now we got all the big CEOs. They come from real estate, banking, the corporate world. That they, 5-10 years ago, all of us guys, man, we were criminal lowlifes to those people. You know, now they're just sucking us dry. You know, our community, anyways.
Yeah, when you talk like, I mean, I've been opposed to what the legalization program in Canada, but when I hear you talk like that, I guess I don't have to feel too much alone. I noticed in your Instagram account you talked about, I believe, do you already have an existing craft cannabis operation going, or are you in the throes of applying for one?
Yeah, we're in the process of it. We got our application in Illinois. We have an application in Illinois for craft grow, an application in Illinois for dispensary. We got an application for a dispensary over in Detroit, Michigan. And then we attained grow and process for hemp up in Wisconsin. But since the hemp game's so questionable from the beginning, we were like, right on the verge of opening something. And then we got just completely melted into Illinois processing. And now it's been, 2 years for our group. And we're coming up on a year when the license was supposed to be released last year. So now Illinois licenses are held up in lawsuits, and Michigan a week ago just went into lawsuit. So now all the licenses are being held up because it's always going to be, there's always going to be that process when it comes to the licensing, especially the ones that have caps on them, is that someone's not going to meet the grade. So whoever don't meet the grade, that this just calls for a lawsuit, and then we'll have to let that unravel before we even see what happens.
Can you familiarize me with or define what a craft grow is all about?
Yeah, so a craft grow in Illinois would be equivalent to, say, in Illinois, it's a craft grow is, you can only start off with 5,000 square foot of canopy flower and a maximum of 14,000 square foot of canopy flower. But a bill was just introduced Friday, I believe it was Friday, and they're trying to raise the square footage up to 56,000 square feet. So then an actual quote unquote social equity person who can get into the game as a craft grower can actually compete, because at 14,000 square feet, I mean, I think we were pulling out about 35 pounds a week with our business plan. And 35 pounds a week in the commercial industry for a state of almost 14 million people, you're not really competing when the big guys have 210,000 square feet of canopy. So you can't really compete in that.
It's good to be able to, just get in the game that way, though. Be able to throw out those small batches. You can get your name out there while you grow. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even though you might not be able to fully, meet the demand that everybody wants, at least you can get something out there, that they can medicate with until you can get bigger on that end, So that's at least cool. You can do that.
Yeah. But see, it really, honestly, I feel like it needs to be even better than that. And it needs to be more like Michigan, where over in Michigan, you can get a micro grow license. It's 150 plants, and you're up and running. And then you can stack your licenses. If your business takes off, boom, 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 you can build it up. In Illinois, it's like, nope, if you get a craft grow, you're maxed out at 14,000 square feet. So you'll never be able to compete against the big people, and that's kind of, I'm trust me, I'm more of the craft guy anyways. Like, I could really give two shits about, I mean, it'd be nice to build up to this huge conglomerate business, and have this big dreamy business that everyone dreams about. But honestly, a 15,000 square foot canopy in my local area, I'd be perfect. I'd be fine. I'd be okay. I wouldn't be bitching about nothing. You wouldn't hear no negativities coming out of my mouth. I'd be completely happy. 15,000 square feet. That's quite a bit of canopy there. So I'd be happy. Mm-hmm.
How many employees do you think it would take to run a facility of that size?
Well, for us, we're figuring anywhere from, depending on the quality of employees, but we're going to go with, high-end experience growers, and then just try to melt people into it as well, but my whole thing, honestly, for the number wise, maybe 8 to 12 employees. But for me, the main thing that our business is we want to melt people who've been arrested, who would never have a chance to get in the industry. That's who we want to melt back into our industry. Cool. We don't really care. I mean, I'm not saying I don't care about a guy who has a 4-year degree in something, but like in my business plans, everything that I do, you can have a 4-year bachelor degree in this or equivalent experience. So if your experience is gorilla growing in 4 houses and basements for the last 14 years, man, the proof's in the pudding. So I have no problem with that.
I can't agree more with that, man. I don't want to bash anything where I live here, but I also work for a 30,000 square foot facility, and I love it there, man. But I can just see it. It's like I feel like I know more than the cultivation director there. No offense, even if anybody's watching from where I work. No offense to you, but it's like I see shit and hear shit and deal with shit, man. And it's like, how did you get that job? And like you said, it's because he's got a 4, 5, 6-year degree, you know what I mean? And whatever, botany or this or that. And that's all well and good. That's great. I'm not knocking you. But my garden in my basement, that's, not even a quarter of the size, looks better, and I produce better bud and better, everything all around, man. It's insane,
Yeah. Yep. And I agree. It's no offense to anybody that went and busted their ass and paid for school and did everything right. No, I have no qualms with that person. But the only thing I don't like is that, well, it's not even that I don't like it. The thing that I realized is that the people who have all the money and have the top schooling and all the smarts when it comes to degrees and pieces of paper, who do they come looking for? Who do they ask the questions to? Who are they looking from the answers from? That tells you who's controlling the stuff, really, And that's the thing is, I was going to tell you, that's fine in your business. I'm sure it's a really great company, and you probably like being there. But there's a reason why you're there. Because like any other business, if they didn't have a reason for you to be there, you wouldn't be there. I don't care who's ahead of you, who's below you.
Absolutely.
Everyone has a place. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. I fully agree. I don't want to toot my own horn, I guess, per se, but I remember with the HR director there, I was showing him pictures on my phone and he was astonished, like couldn't believe. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you know what I mean? Like, I got triple digit money in my basement, man. Like, and he's like, oh, I gotta have you meet this guy and this guy. And next thing you know, I'm going through this company now, man, and I got a good name and I'm doing good there, you know what I mean? But it's just crazy, it's like he couldn't believe. He's like, oh, that's not supposed to be purple like that, is it? I'm like, yeah, man. No, that's that's the cultivar, that's the genetic traits in it, man. And I'm going, he's like looking at me like, what? I'm like, you guys don't know this shit? Like,
right.
Come on.
Yeah. But that's just part of the new industry that we're in. I do know that like 10 years from now, when all of us are CEOs and directors and we actually find our place in this cannabis industry, because the change is happening, and it's happening so fast that I think people ain't really keeping up. It's the same, like, oh, that has purple in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then
it'll be purple if it's 80-degree room. You know what I mean? We don't need it to be 32 degrees.
Nope, I fully agree. And to go back to what you said, man, I can't agree with that more too, because, I'm heavily in the business out here, just doing things and trying to get my own stuff going. And I feel like it's going to be guys like all of us on this panel and elsewhere and from Cannabuzz and Instagrams, and guys like us and ladies like us as well, that are going to be there to save these big fucking Fortune 500 cannabis companies when the doors are going to get shut, because eventually the market's going to be so saturated. They're not going they're not going to last, man, because their product's going to be subpar to what everybody else and what's going out in the next 10 years. And no offense, that guy with the 6-year botany degree ain't going to be able to save the day. It's going to be, you know, one of us that been, like you said, gorilla gluing, growing, or, you know, doing what we're doing now to save the day, man. You know, that's
But
my
yeah, you know,
opinion, you know.
and the one thing on a business end of this that I've noticed is like, you know, smaller guys like us and men and women like us, you know, if we're making $250,000 a year, we're fucking ecstatic. You know what I mean? So like, we don't need to be making $25 million a year to be like completely happy. Like we're like, shit, if we're making $100,000 a year, fuck, we're doing good. It's better than we were doing 5 years ago, you know? So, and on a, like I was saying, on the business aspect, these big companies that I noticed what they're doing all these lease back programs and all this other shit they got going on, you know? And if you really, really look into that on a business aspect, I don't even believe these companies plan on being in business in 2035. I just think they're raising money through IPOs. They're just sucking them dry. One of these big groups, I know, I'm not even gonna name no names or nothing like that, but every year their contract lease buyback goes up 3%. How the hell is that even affordable? That's saying that you don't even plan on being in business in 10 years. You know, I mean, how can you afford whatever you're paying on in your lease buyback, and in 10 years from now it's 30% more? I mean, I know inflation and depreciation is 3%, but damn, you know, I mean, 3% on your lease buyback, that's crazy. That just shows me they don't plan on being in business. They just want to get the money and run.
They got to take the money and run.
A lot of these guys are also just starting these things just so they can get bought out by some of these bigger companies. You know, some of these small craft guys, you know, they're I was talking to like my retail hydro guy, and yeah, he was talking about how, you know, in that space, everybody's just, you know, they're starting small shops in towns and stuff and just trying to get the customer base, just hoping they're getting bought out by, you know, a bigger shop. And so, you know, everybody's doing, you know, they're just vying for that easy buck rather than come in and, you know, do the thing. So,
well, I mean, some might actually take the deal just to have the opportunity to own a growth spot without realizing exactly how screwed they're truly going to be. You know, it's just like, oh boy, I got one, you know, like who the fuck cares? Just hit me as hard as you want. I just want to be able to have a legitimate growth store, not taking consideration 10 years down the line, they're going to be dishing it out 3 times harder. So, I mean, it could be a lot of that too.
I think there's a lot
of the social equity stuff like that they have going on, that they're trying to implement in the United States through all the states and whatever. There's a big failure with that. And what that is when you need to, if you have, like in Illinois, you needed to have social equity to even win the license, period. So a lot of these big companies, you know, they recruited people like myself. I stayed family owned, 100% social equity owned company. I raised money, but I still own 100% of the company. You know, I'm more about that. Well, the big guys come in and they find people who meet the criteria, and then they just bury them in contractual agreement. And literally the day that they can buy them out, that person's out, man. Just like that, gone forever. You know, and I'm a couple guys that I know, we're completely fine with a dispensary that you know, it doesn't matter if it makes millions of dollars a year. We're fine with just making a good chunk of change in our pocket and be able to you know, do something with it, you know. Then just like in Illinois, you know, the big company, I don't know if you guys are real familiar with Illinois. I'm going to talk about Illinois a lot because it's the one I'm most heavily involved in. But, you know, these companies are coming in, they're buying 4 dispensaries at a time for $60 million. I think there's three owner operators that ain't been bought out that are still operating their dispensaries. You know, and everything else is corporate owned. You know, the big guys, you know, Cresco's, Green Thumb Industries, MedMen, you know, all those guys, you know, they're all here now, you know. And honestly, like when these big capped states like Illinois, if they don't switch up the legislation and they don't get some of these bills passed, man, that window of opportunity for guys like us in Illinois, it is closing so fast, man. Like, Unbelievable.
Yeah. This is Illinois.
That's one thing I know
hoping.
about Oklahoma, where I'm at. They made a law where you have to live in the state for 2 years before you can even get a license to own a dispensary.
Yeah,
So,
down there you got to be 75% Oklahoma ownership.
Yeah.
But I see there's actually in Oklahoma, there's a lawsuit that's going on that I think they said it was unconstitutional to have to be a resident to even apply or whatever. So I think that's actually going to be switched by September or November, the end of this year. I think that bill is going to go through.
I don't know. I kind of hope it doesn't. That keeps all of them people like the Green Thumb Industries out.
Well,
because
Green Thumb
they're not going
Industries,
to buy property down here just for 2 years to sit so that they can then get a dispensary.
mm-hmm. You know why Green Thumb Industries and those guys, they'll never come to Oklahoma. You know why? Because they can't compete.
Yeah.
They only want to go to the places where there's caps on the licenses and they can pretty much lobby and have control of all the legislation. In Oklahoma, they would not survive, man. There's too many really good small growers there that would just crush them all day long. They could never keep up.
Cheers
Never
to
keep
that,
up with
bro.
you guys.
And for that, here's the new dab bell. Dab time, everyone.
What do you see, Mr. Rod's comment on that? When's it dab time?
Hell yeah, it is.
Cool, because I was thinking the same thing, man.
Right on, right on.
So in Illinois, I mean, it's to the point where everything that they're doing is they're trying to push the little guy out. They're talking a big game that they want to include, the social equity and everything, but everything that they've shown is proven, the exact opposite, that all they want to do is have the big money lobbies in there so that, they get their lobby money when the time comes.
Yeah, I can prove to you the lobbyists work. So when Illinois went legal for adult use, before they did that, the big corporations, they said that they didn't want no license issued for 18 months because they haven't recouped their monies that they invested in. So then, January 2020, boom, legalization happened. Licenses were supposed to be issued in May 2020. So now we're 16 months into that 18 months and we don't have no licenses. So did they get their 18 months? I'd say so. That 18 months they were lobbying for, they got it. There's no doubt in my mind that that's the reason, one of the reasons why this is where it's at. And like, for all the listeners and viewers out there, if you really, really, really want to know how bad it is in Illinois, go to this website. It's called jbcannabiscorruption.com. And it lays it out. I'm talking all the way from judges to cops to old state regulators that were in the medical. These are the final winners for the original dispensary. I mean, it's so deep, and it was basically built to where the real social equity people never had a chance. And I always say this too. So for social equity in Illinois, unless you had a really, really good mind yourself or you had a really, really good team, I mean, to put your application together, it easily costs you $100,000. Easily. So if they're opening something that's so-called social equity, then how the hell is someone who's social equity going to come up with $100,000 for pieces of paper and a big maybe?
Well, and that was the other
that
thing,
doesn't
and it
even
had to
make
be
sense.
all cash too. Like, yeah, the social equity people were not going to have $100,000 to slap on the table and say, yeah, let's go, let's do this.
Yeah, that's not social equity. And you know what? Like, if you have the $100,000 to do it, kudos to you. Either A, you had a really good team, or you're really not social equity. I mean, because, I just, for me, it's like this. If I want to open up a freaking gas station, I put a business plan together. I show up at the bank, whatever, this, that, and the other. I find a couple investors, no big deal. Boom, 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 it's done. It should be the same thing in the cannabis industry. I shouldn't have to go sell my soul to somebody to get them on my team just so we can apply. Like, you know,
This sounds like politics.
it is. It is. In Illinois, especially. But I think they might fix it. I think they're going to fix it. I think they're going to make things right. Well, they're trying to for sure. That's for sure.
So cute. You think Illinois is going to get anything right?
Right? Illinois government's so corrupt, man. I don't trust them at all.
Well, you'd be delusional to trust any. Wait, we can't go on these topics.
Tell you what, though,
I'll grow it. I get in trouble for this shit. All right.
hey, 311 said it right, though. If you know the right spots in Illinois, there's plenty of good fire running around here. So.
Also, Prof, I think we're allowed to talk politics as long as it's cannabis related.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. All right. If I have to get my ass chewed out later by Caribou, I will. And, you know, I've had my ass chewed out before. I could do that. Just keep it, you know, cannabis related. We're good. You know, we can't go on a rant about one side or the other, but we can bitch
Oh,
about
yeah.
Politics
Thanks.
is a little bit bad, but religion, that's where we got into a lot of trouble for before.
Yeah.
Don't want to go there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is a very frustrating time for all of us. But in my life, I thought we'd never get this far. And but you know what? I want to believe that we're winning.
Yeah.
It's the main problem or one of the main problems with cannabis is the stigma attached to it. And as time goes by, I really truly believe that people will learn to realize and appreciate the values of this herb. Anyway, so much for my rant. I don't even know if I've gotten across what I wanted to say, but to somebody who hasn't is not familiar with the term, how do you define social equity?
So in Illinois, social equity would be somebody who was arrested for cannabis, family member, immediate family member was arrested for cannabis, or you live in a disproportionate area that would be like low income.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, that's pretty much, that's it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So that would be, they would be part of your application process.
Correct. Yeah, and when they have to be on the application, they have to be 51% owner as well.
Yeah.
But they kind of, what big companies will do, they'll put you on the application 51% owner, then they're going to charge you, you know, a 48% manager fee.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of, you know, they just dig you out. That's all.
They have that here in Mass, but they actually really try to benefit those people. And the state and the money they make actually funds what these equal opportunity people or teams have to get going. So it sucks right now in Mass, I've noticed, and just watching it, because there's not a lot of money there yet. You know what I mean? Mass is still way behind on a lot of things. And so I think out of it's like 13 equal opportunity groups out of the whole program they had, I think like only 2 or 3 in operational right now, unfortunately. You know, it sucks. And it's just money, unfortunately, you know, because they don't expect these people to have, like you said, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? And I know here, one of the things to be in part of that program, you have to live in a heavy drug impact area as well to be able to apply. So your majority of your group, I believe, has to be or living in, you know, heavy drug packed, you know, areas to be able to apply for that program.
Yeah, and I'm sure over there the same thing. If that's the case, then they'll just bury them. They'll get people to get on their applications so they can meet the grade, and then they'll just bury them through contractual agreements. And
yeah, I have no idea. You know, like myself, I'm trying to go micro out here. And right now it's just getting over the hurdle of getting money to be able to build something out without taking a large investment from someone to give them control. Because the way I feel and look at it is 9 times out of 10, that person with all those, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions you need, they don't know a fucking thing about cannabis, and all they give a fuck about money is. And when you're trying to do the right thing to put the best name you can on the market with the best product, the best medicine, it's not about Jim and all these fucking plants in the canopy and doing this and doing that. No, we're not commercialized here, you know. So that's a fallback for us here in Mass. It's very, I don't want to say it's easy to get a license, but it doesn't cost you $100,000 to get a license, unless if you're going commercial. If you're staying micro, which gives you 5,000 square feet canopy, and you're automatically entailed to a dispensary front and delivery license as well. And then your yearly fees are 50%. So your yearly fees are 50% every year. And my lawyer that we're dealing with right now, we're looking at like 13 grand to pull a license here in the state of Massachusetts for micro. And the only the only shortage right now and the problem that we're having is trying to come up with this money to do a build out, because, you know, we're adding up, you know, just a small build out on like 2,500 square feet to get started. We're looking at, you know, almost $1 million, you know what I mean? And that's purchasing a place too, because I find if, you know, like you said, lease, I'm not going to lease a building and deal with out here. I know they do. They play that game where they'll raise your fucking rent. And, you know, instead of $2,000, you're paying $5,000 a month. I'd rather just own the fucking place because I plan on being there permanently forever. You know, I want to make a name in the game, you know? So that's the hurdle in Mass. It's just, and then you're competing with these guys, like you said, and people I work for now that just have buco fucking money, man. You know, it sucks. It sucks.
You see, here we have the problem is there's only so much room, so they gotta limit the amount of dispensaries. Otherwise, they'd probably be littered all over the place. So it's like it costs a lot of money for the licensing, just so it's a deterrent of even trying to get into the business. Like if you want to get into it, you really got to get into it, and that's like you have to admit the state police. Everything has to be. Every room has to be on camera. Anything the over has to be burned on camera. Like it's a lot of red tape and a lot of fucking jumping through hoops and shit like that. So it's like to really get a license here is really tough, and to actually get the dispensary up and going. That's why there's only 3 of them in the whole state.
Wow.
So that's how they're keeping a curb on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like we only have so much room, and they don't want it littered. So if they put the price tag way up there, you know, then
hey, real quick here. The feedback is starting to come back again real bad, and we think it came through on Salvatore's end. So if Salvatore is not talking, can we just get him to hit the mute button? And there we go. Yeah, and everything should be okay. But just try to remember, if you could hit that when you're not directly speaking, we won't get that feedback, I think. Cool, thanks. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, feel free to jump in anytime, Salvatore. Though don't feel like you're muted out of the conversation.
Yeah, just when I was going to ask Sal a question, perfect timing. Sal, I was curious that are you growing now? And if you are, I was curious about your growing style.
Well, right now, I haven't been because I can't afford to have any upsets. In Illinois, if you're a medical patient, you can grow 5. So I help out a couple of my friends, just kind of do their little side gardens. But as far as myself, no, because I can't, like I said, I can't have any mistakes happen and lose everything I got going on. You know, one simple arrest would just throw everything I put together just right in the trash can. So, but I mean, I've done it all. Almost every kind of medium, from lava rocks to cocos to, rock wool to flood tables, buckets of dirt on the cement floors. I mean, done it. I've pretty much done it all, The only thing I haven't done is like a really like how we, when we'd go hang, multiple 1,000-watt lights, HPSs and stuff. Me personally, I haven't done a room like that full of LEDs yet. I would really like to do a few hundred plants under LEDs personally myself. I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet myself. But I got a couple friends and everything like that, you know, completely have said the LED game is on point now. So, but like I said, for me, a couple of years, I just kind of had to take it back for a minute and just kind of concentrate on the legalities of this, because I mean, even something as simple as getting caught with 1.5 ounces of weed, I'd be cooked. You know,
Yeah.
my applications would be pretty much garbage at that point. So.
I get it. I get it. So then I'll ask the question in a different fashion. So from your experience in the past, what would you believe to be your favorite growing style? And then thinking positive that you are going to acquire your craft license, what ideas are you going to incorporate as far as growing styles into your new facility?
Yeah, so for me, like I always tell people, you know, focus. Me personally, I don't care about the size of the garden. It's all about just literally making a sea of green and keep it clean underneath. You know what I mean? That's pretty much my theory. It doesn't matter how big your plants are, none of that stuff. To me, however you want to do it for your square footage, get as much green on the square footage as you can. Keep it clean underneath. You know, and then for us on the facility side, we're looking for more of that quick turnaround, you know, so we'll never have a 6-foot plant in our facility. You know, it's going to be a lot quicker stuff. You know, probably more like the plant total I think we had was like from start to finish, I think was 112 days, I believe, you know, so, and then, you know, multi-tier, because obviously square footage and building space, we can just cost so much money. So, you know, we plan on doing the LEDs multi-tiered, turn our 5,000 square foot into 10,000, 15,000. You know, we put when we build the buildings, we're putting 16-foot ceilings in there. So we can at least get 2 tiers in there, turn our 5,000 square foot into 10 without having to build out anything or do anything crazy, you know. But, you know, just kind of, you know, you know, for me, honestly, like I said, it's just, I like just packing them in there, get a sea of green going and clean the bottoms out really well. It doesn't matter what size the plant is, that always seems to work.
So what you're saying is if you have a 5,000 square foot license, but are able to do 2 tiers, then you automatically could run 10,000 and still be within your legal limit?
Well, yeah, well, in Illinois, they start you off at 5,000 and then they will approve you 3,000 square foot increments.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have to build up to that. And then right now that's a maximum of 15,000, but they just introduced a bill to try to get that up to 56,000.
Now, say me being an Illinois medical patient, if I want to get into the industry, not at the level, you know, that you're talking about or anything like that, just get my foot into the door in the industry. Now, what do you know the legalities behind that or anything? With people with records, felons. I know, like, if you got, you know, some drug trafficking and shit like that, they're not going to let you in. But do you know of anything? Because it seems like I keep on hitting roadblocks on that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll hit up local dispensaries and I'll ask them, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this or that," and nobody has like a finite answer. And even when I try to talk to parole about it and stuff, they're just kind of like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah, like, so just shoot me a real specific question.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like, if I just wanted to go work if I wanted, me being a felon, you know what I mean, I have a violent felony, and you know, I'm on parole and stuff like that, would I be able to work in the industry?
Yeah, from my understanding, yes. It's just probably, I'm not sure, you know, exactly what you were arrested for or whatever, but maybe it just scares people. And you got to remember that like literally like 98% of all, well, maybe like 90% of all the stuff in Illinois now, it's all corporate ran. So like the chances of you running across a guy like me is like slim to nil, because it's all corporate. Yeah.
Everybody's being bought out by the big guys. They're coming in there, they're sweeping up stuff right now, and it just sucks, dude, because they're pumping all that shit out there.
Yeah, and see, my main objective is to give you a shot over the next guy. That's my main objective, because all my friends are just like me and you. You see what I'm saying? I mean, all my friends have been to the joint. They've all, you name it, you know. But I like the fact of like a guy like you can come into this industry in literally 2 years of training. You can be trained out to be, you know, a dispensary manager and be making $70,000 a year. That's life fucking changing. You know what I mean? And like, as the cannabis industry grows, especially with the social equity aspect, I know for a fact that there's a lot of people like me on the grassroots side that are, because in Illinois, there was like 900 applications for a dispensary. 600 of those were social equity, you know? So like, and I can guarantee you this, in those applications for social equity, they all, not these applications that already exist now with these dispensaries that are pre-existing, but all the social equity applications that have come in, they have in there that they will be helping out these communities and these people. It's like almost mandatory to have that in your application, you know? So like, but just because you've had issues or whatever, and anyone out there who's had issues, that doesn't mean that you can't own something still. Yeah, you might not be able to a principal officer or something like that, but that don't mean you can't be a board member and, you know, have mad stock in the company. It don't mean you're the CEO, but you can be the board member. You know what I mean? Like transportation, infusion, you know, there's still a whole bunch of ancillary companies out there that is going to be played off of this. The dispensary and the grows obviously are the most expensive, but you know, like there's the only thing I can say is honestly is once the social equity applications drop, I guarantee you're going to have a much easier time getting in. Guaranteed.
I know. Indica B, he's doing a lot of that now. In Massachusetts, they have a lot of that social equity stuff, and I know he's with Canacoke Farms is getting a lot of that up and running. And I've been in his ear, he's been in my ear a lot about that too. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean that's just been my goal, man, is be able to grow some great medicine for myself and the people around me and people who need it, you know, and be able to reach out to those like us that want to be able to do it and don't have a way in, kind of, you know. I want to be able to work with the prisons hand in hand one day and have something set up to where while they're in prison, they're learning cultivation and the aspects of the business. So when they get out, they have something to do. You know what I mean? Now they can grow medicine for, you know, maybe we can get it into the prison system where they're growing meds for the prisoners and stuff, or they can do it themselves. You know, the possibilities are endless, but it starts with us and it kind of ends with the big corporations. You know what I mean? Because they don't care about that shit. All they care about is pumping out mass flour at fucking stupid prices, and that's all they care. And you know what, like if that's somebody's dream, that's their dream, let them have it, you know what I mean? But there's enough of us around here for the other shit too. So
I'm glad you spoke up, DP. I saw you sneaking a little after the show started, and didn't want to think you were just going to sneak in and not be noticed. Welcome, buddy. I like the new artwork you got behind you there.
Yeah. I love women and mushrooms, and so they go great together.
Right on.
Was it a long walk home, DP?
No, that one's not too long. But after yesterday, oh man.
I'm glad you made it home, DP.
Yeah, it's always nice.
I mean, you know, when you were asking for a transporter, I'm like, no, that you know, the patent on that don't come out yet, man. It just ain't happened.
Pretty sure I was on one
Jason's a little busy. We can't just call him up. Jason Statham or whatever is a little busy to pick you up.
So, Sal, I was curious what your opinion is on eventual decriminalization, federal decriminalization or legality of cannabis, and how that may affect you personally.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't think the federal legalization is going to go as far as people think. I think reclassifying it schedulally, yes, I believe that'll happen. But federal decriminalization, I just don't really, I don't know if that's going to happen. But, you know, we talk about this a lot because it's like, what if we ever do cross that day where like interstate commerce is a thing for cannabis? You know, like, like what I guess what I'm saying is if we ever do cross that threshold, would it really be worth to have a multi-million-dollar facility in a state like Illinois? You know, or would you rather go spend your $1 million down in Oklahoma and really build something out, especially if you can just put on a truck and trailer and send it up to Illinois, you know? But I also get the other industries that are heavy regulated, alcohol, tobacco, right? You can't just take cigarettes from Kentucky and bring them up to Illinois and sell them.
You can't even take them from the state over and sell them to the next state next to it. You'll get into big trouble.
Yeah. So there's always, I believe that they're going to, even if federal legalization happened, I think the states personally, they got so much invested in their cannabis industry now that they just couldn't let the big guys come in like California and I mean, imagine that. I mean, like,
they'd have to add another letter to the ATF. They'd have to add another whole nother letter to ATF, ATFC. You know what I'm saying? Because like that would be the same thing.
But imagine if California, Oregon, and Washington State could just bring their products to Illinois. I mean, these big multi-million-dollar facilities would be like crushed like instantly, and I don't think the state's going to allow that to happen.
Never does.
I mean, they need to get on the interstate because it'd just be good to have the commerce between everybody. I mean, you know, stuff that we grow here in Illinois is totally different than stuff that's grown out in California. That's, you know, just to be able to have that difference of medicine for different people, you know, to try different things, help people out, you know, it'd be good just to have that ability. You know, we need to get on that. And I think you're right. I think the probably the scheduling is, you know, a light descheduling will probably end up happening before anything super positive. And I feel like they're still going to figure out a way to kind of control it, and they're gonna keep jacking it down slowly with some form of like stranglehold on it, so that, you know, they can keep it in corporate hands to do all that, you know.
Yeah, they weren't gonna let it out.
Don't forget that our favorite cigarette company has land already purchased and dehydrating facilities already purchased. They're just waiting. They're waiting for the feds to go, all right, you can do it now. And then it's on.
They've had it for like 15 years.
Packs of, you know, the cigarette joints, like we got those crap hemp joints right now.
Yeah, and they are starting it. They're starting it on the fact of like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like Florida, Colorado, I don't know, like 4 other states, people have introduced bills in their states to cap the THC to 10% on flower. So like that's the biggest brightest light, that if you can really see what's going on in the cannabis industry, that's the one to pay attention to. Because if that starts happening, you already know what time of day it is, because it's the same reason why that can of beer has 5% alcohol in it, because that regulation, you know.
Yeah, but you can get higher grades of alcohol. I mean, once you pass the beer, I guess that would start leading into cannabis aspect as far as concentrates and whatnot. But me and Rick was talking about that. What would be the tap out for a concentrate? You know,
it's gonna be about taxes, because that's kind of how they're doing it in Illinois. They tax on percentage of your THC. I just feel like they're trying to build up the thing to where they can start. Oh, okay, well at 10% it's gonna be this much tax. At 15% it's gonna be this much, and you know they're just trying.
As soon as the government figures out how to legally monetize this to its optimum potential for them, then they will legalize it. They haven't figured out how they can make it legal and make as much money as they have keeping it illegal. So as soon as they figure out how to make the same amount of money, we'll see it legal. It'll be fine.
Stop medical growing.
About this shit happening from before, you know, they were like, oh, you know, once they start trying to legalize it, you know, this, and this is going to happen, and it's all kind of starting to happen. So we'll have to get through these rough patches.
I mean, Rick made a point. He said he never thought he'd see the day that we were this far. in his lifetime. Even in my own lifetime, I didn't think we'd be anywhere near here. So,
I never thought we'd get this close either, man.
you know, so I mean, I'm kind of taking what we're given right now as like thankful. Granted, it'd be nice if it was more, but I mean, in the same note, it is moving along, and we are a lot farther than we were
Well, I
less than
think
a decade ago.
I think part of the good thing on this is going to be that we've kind of forced them to test things. We've kind of forced them to check on like the medical potential of this. You know, we're kind of forcing the government's hand on all of this,
Do you
so
know?
that we're keeping a little bit of control on it, and somewhat. I mean, not really, but it is
The
nice
big
to
deficit,
see.
Fluffy, is going to be the fact that the pharmaceutical company is actually going to go down due to the fact that the cannabis is being replaced by many people, even addicts that are getting clean. So if they don't have that stranglehold of okay, an addict getting clean goes to methadone or whatever, they get they get paid obviously because the insurance pays for that or whatever. This way here, cannabis isn't paid for, only it's just paid for by the individual. So if they can only make money off of taxes that's sold through the dispensary, and there's more people going to the dispensary, yes, but as opposed to the actual pharmaceutical company and what they made, that's going to be the biggest impact. And I believe that's why it's not fully legal. It's because a lot of
Well,
people would turn.
I think you're going to see a huge difference in the medical program once everything goes legal. It's just, things are going to blow up. And I think you're going to have, different and more specific, like cannabinoid related, like direction in like the medical field, where they're going to start really focusing heavily and teaching, people. And it's not going to be so much, like, you're not going to be able to get a joint at, your medical dispensary, because that part of it isn't healthy, but they will figure out how to make a healthier alternative, inhalable that's going to be a little more directed, they're going to figure out like CBG works better when inhaled in the lungs. So they'll have like CBG inhalers, but you're not going to have like a CBG pre-roll, you know what I mean? Because that part is unhealthy. So I think the big thing will be the difference in the way medical is treated when it's all said and done. I think it will be healthier, but they're going to figure out how to make it to where the medical side is going to make a killing, because you're only going to be able to get it on the medical side, properly on the medical side anyway. At least that's what I.
Yeah, once they patent some of their processes and stuff like that, you're 100% right. The medical side, they'll hold all them to their heart, really nice and close, and whatever it is, however they're processing to make their inhalers and whatever else. And you're right that because once they own that, that's what it'll be for sure on the medical side.
I'll be honest, that's what I fear. It's when we start really like letting the medical people take that active ingredient and process it and find it and make it super duper strong. The word potent. You can take opiates for that as an instance. You can make an opiate tea and not get super fucked up and still get some pain relief out of it, or you can take it and turn it into, pick which medication you want, and they all get 10 times stronger with each name. And now we start having overdoses and all this other stuff, and bad things happen. Same thing with the white oak for your aspirin. You can make a small little bit of white oak, fresh from the tree, you're fine. Take 2, 3, 4, 5 bottles of aspirin for that headache, and you're done. Hell, take 5 aspirin for your headache, and it'll be your last headache.
And maybe that might be the point when they find that concentration levels need to be so high that they might find the point where cannabis gets, harmful at such high concentrations. It's ridiculous, but only at like a pharmaceutical level can they make it. And then they will make that, and that's how it'll all end up, going to shit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, do the rules change in the States much between recreational and medicinal? I guess that's a question for anybody. But I just wanted to say hi to Squishy Bob. Welcome to the panel, buddy. Don't think you can sneak in unnoticed. How are you today, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Sorry I'm late. I had internet trouble at work. I couldn't get it to work for some reason. I don't have data right now, so I had to get back home after I finished up work. But I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Yeah, the irony in Canada is we went to medical cannabis became legal in Canada approximately, oh boy, early 2000s, and the only people that could provide medicine to the patients were the licensed producers, who these are in what you would refer to as big pharma, big business, multi-million-dollar corporations. And then when recreational became legal in Canada in approximately 2018, it was the same medical producers that were selling to the recreational patients. Yet the recreational distributors, retail stores, could not classify themselves as a dispensary. They could not recommend which particular strain is good for sleeping or appetite or pain. So it made the whole thing a laughing stock as far as I'm concerned. But I just want to make one more quick point before I lose it, and that was the one I was trying to make earlier, is that in spite of all the bullshit that's going on right now, yes, I never thought it would be legal in my life, but in spite of it all, these are exciting times, and we are going to be the ground changers in this whole industry. So none of us want to give up. We just want to keep plugging away, and we're going to win, because these major companies, the difference between them and the craft facilities that are out there is, quite frankly, they can't give the love that the smaller producers can, and that's going to make the difference. I guarantee it. It's going to make the difference. I've purchased from retail stores, and it saddens me the lack of quality. And unfortunately, when you have 150 or 200 or half a million square feet, it doesn't. You just can't give it the personal touch that it deserves. So that's my soapbox for today.
But yeah, back to your question about is there differences between the medical and adult use recreational in Illinois? Well, on the dispensary side, the really only differences is the HIPAA Act and keeping people's information. That's pretty much, but everything else, all the regulation laws and everything like that, all still stay the same. In Illinois, the medical cultivators, they're specifically designated to the medical industry. So that's what they say anyways. So they're supposed to have X amount of square feet for the medical, X amount of square feet for the recreational. Literally, when the plant's tagged, it should be tagged as medical or recreational right off top. You know, it's not, oh, last minute, oh, we need some more adult over in the adult section, adult use section, send it that way, vice versa, you know. But do I think they're probably doing it? Probably, you know, but who knows?
Bergie, good morning. How are you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You're showing off your Raiders mug there, I see. What are you smoking on this morning?
Winston Gold Shorts. I got to get shit done before I smoke.
I'm the same way, man. I had to wait till I got done doing the work I was doing before I'll smoke anything. Otherwise, I ain't worth a shit. Even if I smoke a sativa, it don't matter, man. I just want to go back to sleep. So I wait and do my wake and bake after I get my shit done.
Fuck, man.
Smoke on the way home.
I'm the opposite, man. I gotta fucking blaze all day, man, to be able to get shit done. It doesn't matter. Indica, sativa, I gotta blaze all day, man. Like, fucking at work breaks, I'm fucking just dabbing the fuck out, dude, all day, man. Like, if not, I don't fucking get shit done. I don't want to do nothing, and it's just from all my medical issues and shit and pains and bullshit I deal with. So it's like, I gotta smoke constantly, man. Like, my wife asked me, "Is like, how do you function sometimes? You smoke so much." I'm like, it's not. I'm not getting high. It's not. I'm looking at it. You know, I get high, but it's medical relief. That's the way I look at it, man. And it drives me to fucking levels that I don't even know I'm capable of some days. But you know,
if I got shit to do, I can do that. But if I got nothing, I can get couch locked like that and be stuck binge watching TV for 10 hours, like
I gotta
without
take
even
realizing some shit like that to get couch locked now, man. Like, I gotta really fucking.
No, you'd be surprised sitting down watching a cartoon after like 15 dabs and however many bong rips and some edibles start kicking in. You're like so intent into the show and you have no idea what it's about just because it's been going on.
I'm taking
for
a day
hours.
like that. I'm taking tomorrow off. I made sure I did everything this morning so I don't have to do fucking thing tomorrow, man. I can have that kind of day where I just sit around and smoke and dab all day long because I got enough dabs.
It's mental health.
No fucking flour left, but I got a lot of dabs to do. So
It's good mental health day just to totally like lose track.
You go squishing crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go squishing crazy soon, man. Real soon here.
Decent.
About to harvest here at home here probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So
Where are you taking down?
What's that?
What are you taking down?
What am I taking down? Shit, a banana kush, a couple Romulans. Fuck, what else I got in? Oh, a couple super skunks. I got one super skunk, man. I got buds growing down the fucking stem of the fan leaves, like attached to it. It's crazy. I've never seen no shit like that. It's like an inch down the fan leaf growing. So I'm kind of excited. And I got a bunch of clones of that too. So I can finally relax.
Mute,
Sorry.
please. Mute. Can I get you to mute, Hype?
I can finally relax though,
sincere.
man. I got all my cloning done and everything done. I can finally like just go and water and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of nice, at least for another couple weeks, and then I'll be back to transplanting all over again.
Yeah, talking about smoking all day. Normally, I try to. In many cases, I wait till the 420. Every now and then, I fall off my pattern, but there's always special occasions. But I like to wait till 420 to fire up that first one. I find that the first one of the day is absolutely the best. So sometimes I like to save it. But of course, when it comes to the wake and bake, I just feel that I have to belong. Okay. So when it's 9 o'clock in most of your part of the world, 9 o'clock in the morning, well, it's hello, it's 6 o'clock in the morning here. And of course, around 6:01, I'm starting to fire up my first bong or whatever it might be. And then when the show is over, I
You
hear.
already missed 420, Rick.
What's that? What?
I said that means you already missed 420, Rick. That's your problem. You need to wake up earlier.
I have no sympathy for you, Rick, because the evening shows, by the time we're done, it's fucking midnight where I'm at, all right? So
I agree, Prophet.
I got no sympathy for you, with that one, all right? You guys, and I gotta say, though, I love the Sunday because you're way more active on a Sunday morning than you are during the evening, Rick. I have to say that.
Well,
Dude, passed out Rick in the corner is kind of funny, though.
No, it is, and I love it, but I mean, he's been running this show, man. He's got mad questions, like he did his homework.
Well, just a little bit, but I gotta go along Johnny's concept. Those every time I have a nap, okay, if I have a nap during the day, boy, oh boy, that next joint, that's just like the first one of the day. But anyway, so
How do you nap?
I start smoking, and the show is over around 8-ish, and my time. And I hear from my friends on the panel, yeah, well, I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to do that, and I think we'll go to do this, and all I can think about is going back to bed.
I'm going to bed because it's midnight, but yeah, you take nap. How do you guys take a nap? I can't do it. My brain will not allow me to nap if the sun is up, no matter how wrecked, no matter how hard I try. It's like the sun's up, it will not go down.
I take 3 naps a day, easy.
And you still gotta bail out early in the evening shows.
That's why the evening show, half the time I can't make the evening shows because my bedtime's like 8 o'clock, man. I swear to God.
Dude,
But
I
I'm
had to
up at, like,
condition
4.
myself. I was on my plant schedule like 9 p.m. and then I hit my lights and then go to bed. And then you guys had me on here and I'm like, now I gotta push myself to midnight.
I'd probably take 3 naps a day too if I friggin' ate as many edibles as Johnny did.
Yeah, but I eat a shit ton of edibles too, man, but I still can't do it.
Hey, you know, I'm just enjoying my retirement. You know what I mean? I worked all them years, 6-7 days a week, 18 hours a day. So now I'm kind of retired. So I'm just enjoying the plants and learning. So
hell yeah, brother, that's what it's all about.
Good for you.
It's like
I'm not hating. I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. I wish I could nap. You know how much quicker the days would go by? There are some days where I'll be like, oh, I wish this day would end. And those are the days that I usually can't fall asleep till like 2, 3 in the morning. For some reason, it's like the day's been so dragged out. And I'm like, I just want it to end. Or I hit my lights. I go to lay down in bed and I'll be stuck up watching something I've watched 1,000 fucking times, which I still laugh at because it gets funnier every time I watch it. I don't know why, but you know, so it's like, you know, it'll be like fucking 3 in the morning. I'm like, all I want to do is go to bed and start the next day. You know, like those are the days I can never fall asleep. Those real long, boring days.
That's about the time I'm waking up, Prophet.
Yeah.
So Sal, you're pursuing a license in Illinois. I understand you're also going after licenses in Michigan and another state. I'm just curious, like, do you have to tackle each state separately? Are there certain challenges in Illinois that you may not have to deal with in Michigan?
Yeah, so with the Illinois applications, honestly, they're so stringent that if you actually complete one, you could probably take your information that's in your Illinois application anywhere to any other state. So like over in Michigan, we're kind of really just copy and pasting our application. We have to switch a couple things up, you know. But overall, honestly, when you're doing these things, you need a good attorney, like a good consultant. You know, if you need a consultant for something, and a good writer, obviously.
We got the same thing going right now. A really good attorney for trying to get all our licensing going in Michigan as well. That was going to be my question. How tough was it in Michigan for you? Have you already done everything, or?
Yeah, so in Michigan so far we're Detroit Legacy approved, and we should be getting the approval for from the state, because you know how they do the pre-qualification first.
Yeah.
It's like Illinois is the opposite. Like you put in the application, then they tell you ain't shit and you didn't make it. Where Michigan will tell you ain't shit and you ain't gonna make it from the beginning.
Right.
So, you know, like over there, so like, you know, yeah, it was pretty straightforward in Michigan, the pre-quals. But Detroit just got hit with a lawsuit, so everything's on pause for there, you know. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty simple overall, you know. You still need your business plans and security plan, floor plan. If you're doing for anything, you need your floor plan.
Yeah, micro. We're trying to do a micro dispensary.
Yeah, so the 150 plants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's the one where it's no, they have a combined one, right? Where you can have a storefront and the micro.
Yeah. But we're just getting started with everything with our attorneys. So, and like our consulting and all that shit, man. We're just kind of trying to get everything going now.
You got a really good attorney?
Yeah. And this is what he
Good.
does. So this is what he does. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, my attorney that I work with the most is out of Michigan. So, well, so what parts in Michigan?
Kalamazoo.
Okay, nice.
Maybe Grand Rapids.
Man, I wish you all the luck, man. I know if you really want it, it's theirs. It's for you. You just keep going.
For sure. Yep.
Definitely.
For sure. We're pushing it, man. We're pushing it. We're trying.
Oh yeah, and just that's like for me. You know, how many people are like, you really think you're gonna get it? You know who you're competing against, Bob? I mean, I heard everything. Yeah, I know.
Right.
But you know what? I need to go to be able to sleep at night. And if I ain't doing nothing and I'm not trying, I can't sleep. You know, if you beat me fair and square, whatever, I go to bed, sleep like a baby the next night. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't do nothing.
I mean,
you're right. Can't do nothing, man. You're right. I got Loom right down the street. You know what I mean? I got Cookies down the way from there. So like, yeah, I know. We definitely, there's some serious competition when it comes to that, you know, but they all got shitty bud though. Their bud's all fucking dust, man. I just got some from the cookie place. It was a garlic breath and it was like fucking dust, man. Just dust.
Yeah, honestly, I ain't ever heard too much good about Cookies brand, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, unless someone over in Northern Cali got some crazy seeds or something, and and it got the name attached to it, that's always usually good shit. But actually some flour out of a glass jar.
Right.
I've got family in a legal state with a med card, and when they go to the dispensary, they'll go and they try to keep it to where they're ahead, like a week or two ahead of what they actually need. And that way, when they go to the dispensary, they can take that dry ass herb home, drop it in a jar with a Bovida pack for a week or two, and kind of like let it kind of come back. And then it becomes smokable again for them. It's not as ideal, obviously, as like, a proper dry cure and such, but it's better than straight out of the jar from the dispensary.
And that's also the difference, is over in Michigan, they can serve you, you know what I mean? To where in Illinois, everything's prepackaged. So, and some people don't like the prepackaged. You can't open it, smell it, nothing. You can't even look at it until it's in the bag and you're in your car.
Well, then, and technically, you don't want to do it then either, because if you get pulled over on the way home and that bag is now open, then you get in trouble for having open cannabis in your car. So
that is true.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. But I still wouldn't want to
do prepackage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do the prepackaging if I can't see it, smell it, touch it beforehand. I don't want it.
Everybody says that.
There's a lot of places going to that now.
Yeah, it's like
Everyone
that here.
says
But
it,
if you
but
get stopped, they're not going to harass you if you get stopped with the bag. I mean, they're pretty lax as far as the cops. They're just going to be like, all right, whatever, just go. But yeah, you can't see the bud or anything like that at the dispensary. They give it to you. It's sealed, but the cops ain't going to harass you. What's to say you didn't take some of your medication prior, and that's why it's open? You can't. It's in this state. It's kind of looked at like if you have medical license or if you have it, you should look at it as though it's your medication. So like if anything that has pertained to a prescription bottle or prescription, like if you have that prescription and they look at it and the bottle is less than it's supposed to, but I mean, it's 5 days into your prescription, you can't get bitched at for that shit because you have to take your prescription. Like at some point you have to open the bag.
Yeah,
so,
in Michigan, they don't care unless you're actively smoking one. You got one burning in the car, then you're in some shit. But other than that, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, then it's like a DUI, which realistically, I guess it is. You know what I'm saying? If we were to get down to the realistics of it, you are. It's like driving around drinking a beer.
Right. They're hitting people around here, man. They're like setting up these damn stops around here, but just for people like being on their phones.
Well,
Like
I mean,
speed
that's a
traffic.
big thing, dude.
It
That's
is, dude.
serious.
I'm constantly about getting ran over by people because they're on their fucking phone or ran into, especially when I used to be on a moped or motorcycle, dude. That was the worst because people were always on their fucking phones. And
Dude,
the
I
people that
walk.
were about run me over were always the people on their fucking phones, man.
Yep. I walk
Dude,
and
I stopped
I'm
riding.
looking everywhere. I always look everywhere. I watched a lot of Russian crash videos where the pedestrians seem to be like the ones getting it, and, you know. So it's like I'm constantly looking around when I'm walking to the store, at all the intersections. Like,
you guys want to
fuck
hear a
that.
funny story? I
Sure.
was on my way to work the other day, and normally, like I said, I don't smoke before work, but I was already at work and had to leave and then come back, so I was high as hell. And I just passed a couple cops. I'm right in downtown Kalamazoo. I'm looking in my mirror, and then all of a sudden, I look ahead of me, dude, and I'm on a one-way street, and I got a fucking car coming right head on at me. And it's a fucking high-speed chase coming through downtown Kalamazoo. And this motherfucker, I got to run. I almost hit a parked fucking car trying to get away from this motherfucker, man. And it was just crazy. Totally ruined my high, man. Like, I thought I was going to die. I really did, man. But it's like, there's always some crazy shit going on down here now. I witnessed a shooting the other day. A car fucking cut me off and then turned on the next street and then started shooting at this apartment complex. I'm like, what the fuck? Broad daylight, man. And it's like a week before that, you know, a week before this fucking high-speed chase. And this motherfucker had been running from the town over. You got to be shitting me. Like, these cops I just passed, they didn't have the fucking roads blocked off or nothing. They didn't know that shit was happening. It's just crazy to me, you know, that they didn't have the whole fucking city locked down when they know they got a fucking crazy person driving through, you know, hitting cops with his car and shit, trying to hit people. And then the motherfucker, I guess he hit another cop car in town going down a different one way and fucking ran and got away. Fucking got away from these motherfuckers. Like,
Now,
how
a
the
person
fuck is that possible?
driving like that, do you think they should legitimately be stopped
Well,
at
if
all
they're
costs?
fucking like that, normally don't they just let them go if they're fucking in the city like
After
that?
they
That's what I
after
thought.
they hit a certain mile per hour, like if they hit the highway, they get to a certain speed, and if it's going to be dangerous, but if they can close quarter them into the city block scenario where like they can start closing off the roads and kind of encapsulating the dude. At least that's how it works around here. Then they'll
That's what
do
I
that.
thought they would have done here.
Yeah, but I mean, they can't pit maneuver somebody in a neighborhood. You know, like there's only specific times where they can actually do things like that because they have
Right.
to be doing a certain speed to be able to pull the pit maneuver off or to actually slam into them properly enough. Because I mean, if you're doing 20 and you get hit by it, they can legitimately keep going, and you do take the risk of injuring other people. But yeah, as far as that's
Well,
concerned,
this motherfucker was coming at me down a 5-lane one-way fucking road. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't barely have nowhere to go. That's how fast this son of a bitch was coming at me.
see,
He
I
was
think those
probably
people
going
should be taken down and arrested specifically because of the fact that they're endangering families
a
going
lot
down
of people.
side roads and shit like that. You know, like you want to take it to the highway, that's still kind of messed up, but at least a lot of the times you're only putting yourself in danger by doing that shit. But
Right.
yeah, like when you're riding around in inner neighborhoods and whatnot, I think the cop should grab the motherfucker and he should be charged with some seriously endangerment driving.
No shit. Hell yeah, I was so mad, dude, because you ruined my fucking buzz. Honestly, I was more mad about that than anything. You know, like what the fuck, man? Like here I am, I'm looking at the fucking cops behind me, and then there's a motherfucker coming. You know, I mean, 2 cars away from me, and I jerked the wheel. You know, swerved as hard as I could to the right, just to try to miss him. But he's coming quick. But it's just like in Kalamazoo, it's like there's always something fucking crazy going on, man. Always. I mean, I had a fucking trailer last week that burnt down and then burned another trailer and then caught another trailer on fire. Like, and I didn't even fucking hear it.
Bushy, I feel like this shit just follows you around, buddy.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it does too. Bad luck, man.
Bob, with a name like Kalamazoo, what do you expect?
Right?
Kalamazoo? What's a Kalamazoo, man? Oh God. Oh no. I feel a little bit of a Rick rant coming on.
Here, let me stop that while you're doing it because I want to know something. So Sal, have you looked into like the caregiver program in Illinois or anything that goes along with it?
Oh, did we lose Sal?
I had to mute him, but I told him all he had to do was unmute him when he wanted to talk.
Okay, but his screen is locked as well.
I didn't do any of that, but I'll look. I can hit after unmute.
You know, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not in the chat line.
Hey, where's Caribou?
I can hit after start video.
He just got the show started and threw the reins to Prophet because he's traveling down home from Prince George.
All right, we got him.
Hey, don't he? I seen something about him. He's got a thing on Cannabis today. Is that today? Or he's like a guest on Cannabis?
Yeah, that tomorrow. Yeah, that is today. That is today at 5 your time or something like that. 8
Yeah,
my
I
time.
think it's 6. I think it's 6 our time.
Okay, yeah, it's 8 my time.
Oh, cool.
Cheers, you motherfucking all. Have a good day.
Fluffy, you had a question for Sal. Sal's back with us now.
Yeah, I was wondering if he had have you looked into the like caregiver program at all? Doing any work with that? Do you know any of the information about the caregiver program in Illinois?
What program?
The caregiver program. You know,
maybe
just,
I'm not hearing you correctly.
Cooking, growing for other medical patients.
Oh, like a caregiver? Oh,
yeah, the care. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the caregiver can't grow for the patient.
Right. So, I was just wondering if any of the opportunities that you looked into, if any of that, could come through that program, so I haven't looked into it per se. I need to. I'd like to look into it. But, considering, like you said, we can't grow for other people as a caregiver. And basically, I think all we can do is transport medicine back and forth from a dispensary, right? As a caregiver in Illinois.
Right.
So, yeah. But, I didn't know if you had known if, they're trying to make any changes to the Illinois caregiver program to be more like some other people's medical systems, where, a caregiver could grow for a patient or, other things like that, provide medicine, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't personally see Illinois doing anything like that because that was like, them were the days before the regulations really came in. Say like Michigan, the perfect state to use as an example, when the caregiver in Michigan used to have like a whole bunch of rights, and then they could actually take your medical card, go hang it on a wall, put 10 of them together, be growing hundreds of plants. But now they're losing that over there as the regulation and regulatories and all that comes into play. They're like, it's kind of reverting back because they're like, I think the state's more like, if we're going to give you the medical dispensary to go to, then you don't really need your caregiver anymore. And then at the end of the day, it just comes down to taxes and stuff, because, really the Michigan people, they kind of lost their rights from what they once had as far as their abilities in the cannabis, this growing and everything like that, the caregivers and all that, because they were once the growers. And a lot of those guys have been pushed out the market, which sucks.
Yeah, I think a lot more of these states should get more into the caregiver programs. I think, there's a lot of benefits we had with them. And it's an overlooked opportunity with them just, worried about, the finances in the long run, how much profit they're making. So,
yeah, and I think they're kind of like, well, we'll let you as a medical person grow your plants, but in the same sense, I do get it. Like, a person should be able to grow their medicine. If you can grow, if all the things that you can naturally grow in your backyard, cucumbers, tomatoes, this, that, and the other. And as we all know, if you eat a high quality organic diet like that, you're probably eating one of the healthier diets that, is out here to offer. So if you can grow that and that, makes you medically better as a person, I do believe that you should be able to grow cannabis if that's something that offers to you medically as well and benefits you as a person. The restrictions on that, when it comes to profits and all that, obviously I'm trying to get into the business, so I want to make some money on it, obviously. But do I feel that medical people should have maybe a little more than 5 plants? Probably. You should be able to supply yourself for the year. And as we all know, for most people who are growing like 5 plants in their house, they're not raking pounds of weed off these things. You know what I mean? So they have some medicine, then they don't have none. They have some, then they don't have some. Anything over 5 inches in Illinois is considered a plant. So, but I honestly, I don't see the states going backwards with that. I think they might allow the medical people to maybe grow a few more plants, but as far as the caregivers, I think, and even in Illinois, it's pretty easy to get a medical card now. And then,
a lot
of people,
your caregiver program, other people have it for things like even just general gardening, like there are people who, work for companies that will, go out and help, a senior citizen garden who can't, till the land, work their land, get out there and work with those plants, but they want, that organic, food that they're growing. And so there's people that, they go out and they'll provide that service for people. And that should be the same option that should be afforded to people in this industry for this side as well. You know what I mean? At least that's what I feel, So yeah, a guy who might want to have his medicine because he's a quadriplegic and this is great medicine for him, but he wants to know and he should be able to, somebody should be able to make that happen for him. So, that's what the caregiver program should be all about.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. There's a different aspect there that, basically where it's like an assisted program, like more than just a caregiver in a sense, more of like an assisted caregiver, because it's more than just going to the dispensary and picking up some medical flowers, dabs, whatever, concentrates somebody needs. What about that person who, like you said, is a quadriplegic and they want their 5 plants growing in their house? Well, who's showing up growing their 5 plants?
Exactly. And so we should have, and everybody should have a program to be able to do that for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I
it's
mean?
Like an assisted caregiver program. Yeah.
Well, here, if you have a card, you can help somebody else that's actually growing that has their card. Like you can give them a hand. Like otherwise you can't have anybody in your grow if they don't have a card. So I go and help my friend. So
it's like that here too, Prophet.
Yes, like I can go and help anybody that has a card to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? From building their room to helping them flower, helping them grow, or whatever. I do it with a lot of the people that I know that are starting up to grow. I help them build their rooms. I help them with their rooms. I help them with their plants. Whatever they can't do.
I think what he's saying is there any state program? Is there any actual public program that people can go to?
I think people would be afraid to do that, though. That's the problem.
No, it should be part of.
It'd be like, oh, hey, let me bring this stranger into my grow. I think that's the problem. So it's like if it's not a friend that's helping you out, that's a grower as well. Do you want a complete stranger that you've gotten off of a forum or through a program to come to your house? That's probably the big question.
And they got all them kind of things in the little ads around here about girls, that all these girls that fucking trim and all that shit. I don't give a fuck what they look like. I don't want them trim. I don't want some random person in my grow area, knowing where my grow's at, how to get there, none of that shit,
Yeah, I could rent a hooker for probably cheaper and
Right.
have her trim.
No shit. That's what I'm saying. A lot cheaper.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking more for on the patient side. I mean, when he was talking, when Sal was talking about, a lot of states are going away from the caregiver program. I'm trying to argue for the reason we should not only keep it, but actually put some more time and thought into the caregiver program, because there are people who need help that want to have, they want to be in control of their medicine like all of us do, and physically can. So a caregiver should.
I totally agree with that.
And I do too.
That's why I argue for that program. And
that's what I'm trying to do.
States are going away from it. We need to start lobbying people to start keeping these caregiver programs. I know it's real easy to say, well, hey, you can go to the dispensary, or, guys like Sal, I understand, that would be someone that might be cutting into, profits for a guy who wants to start a grow. And I get that, but it's going to be at such a small scale of people that it's not really going to affect the big guys.
Right. We're not going to hurt them.
So let's, we need to start, putting that into people's hands.
Well, it starts with these dispensaries that we got now that are lobbying against home growing, so they can be the sole proprietor of medical cannabis. They don't want you being able to grow your own. They don't want you to be able to grow anybody else's. They want you to have to go buy overpriced and not that great a product.
That's what I've been waiting on, is the fact that it's going to get fully legal, but they're going to wipe out homegrowns, and you can only go to a dispensary so they can get that money through taxes.
Small craft cannabis will always be around. We're just going to have to fight for it, and it's going to take a lot of fucking unpleasant times, I think.
Or go back underground.
24 of my plants are for two little old ladies that can't grow. Just, you know what I'm saying? So, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, if they took that out, that would fucking totally suck,
Yeah. I'm so
See you, Drizzt.
Really, really intelligent thing to say.
Later, Drizzt.
Later, Drizzt.
Who just joined
See you later, Drizzt.
Okay, so listen, I got to tell you what a pleasure it's been. This gang of here that I've really been enjoying, but I'm not capable, like Indica and a few other people on to keep up with what's going on in chat, especially to communicate. But God damn it, they're having a good time in there. Hurt and Albertan, mushroom hunting is fun as fuck, he says. But I was just thinking, yeah, but especially if you find them. I mean, that would be the fun part. And
I love mushroom hunting.
And then somebody's shredders enjoying the idea of having all the hookers come to trim, and yeah.
I'm down. It'd be easy to be take all your clothes off and trim, because you're not gonna rob my shit, unless you kangaroo pouch that thing, and then you're gonna have to let it dry out longer. So that's on you. I hope you're good at your curing process, bitch.
What's your pH levels?
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, hold on. Now, were you guys in chat earlier? Because they already talked about growing THC on yeast. So
oh yeah, I caught that.
A whole nother time. Yeah,
I jumped in there, but I think I kind of missed. Actually, it was a joke. So yeah. I was like, "Where?" Really?
They had me rolling, man. I was having a hard time focusing on what was going on, man. That shit had me rolling.
And Painted Lady is quite active in chat today, but I missed the gym because I'm so stoned. What's going on with Painted Lady? Is everything okay with her caregiver's license?
Yeah, she's just dropping information about the dumb shit that Michigan does.
What's that?
Yeah.
What was it? I don't have the chat.
It's a lot of stupid boofing.
There was a lot of talk about how you can't be a license holder or work under a license holder and be a caregiver at the same time.
In Michigan.
Well, that sounds like competition, though. Yeah, that'd be like if you worked at a brewery and you went home and you brewed your own beer, and then tried to sell it. I don't know. I could see their point. You could take their secrets that they've taught you and then use it to your benefits. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of. right there is that they don't want you being competition.
Well, I got a spy. In like a dispensary.
Don't talk about it.
He's taking pictures for me of their notebook. So, I don't give a
It's some
fuck.
007 shit.
It's right, man. I don't care. But yeah, man, for real. I just kind of like to know what's going on, how they do shit, because I don't know. I'm brand new to the big game, you know what I mean? So
And all the learning that comes along with it.
man, dude, and all the bullshit along with it. But you know what? It's all good bullshit. Swear to God, dude, could be a lot worse. You know what I'm saying? I could be working at McDonald's. You know?
It's Abolish was talking in chat right here, saying they can't quite grow it as well at scale. And I don't think that's the case. I think they can grow it just fine at scale. It's a change of process, and you have to, it's going to be longer. You're going to make less profit off of it. Is the big reason they can't do it on scale. It's not that they can't do it and make money, but I think the bigger problem is, they're losing it in the cure and the shipping and the storing in the packaging. There's so many hands touching, it's moving through so many parts, and I just think they're losing everything in the shit's just getting too big. It's too mechanicalized. They're beating everything around.
They're industrializing it, bro. And
so
you're right.
I've seen some of these grows, these big grows, and they have got some fire ass flower, and then you can get that same shit at the dispensary, and you're like, it's all right. It's decent, it's good, but you're not going to beat, the guys on the panel, the guys in chat that really take care of their shit, really take pride, and they never, touch their flower as they're, trimming, and that shit went to a jar, and then it got cured, and everything went just perfectly, and it never went anywhere, and that bud is going to be better. It's always going to be. There's no way around that.
It's kind of like a farmer's market compared to a supermarket. That's really how I look at it.
Yeah, and if these big guys, if they want to put out that kind of quality, that's the way it's going to be. You're going to make less profit. You're going to put more time and money into what you're doing, and that's just how it works.
Yeah, once you lose that hand trim aspect, the lot goes out the door with that. That's for sure.
So the hand trim, hang drying and hand trim is your preferred style?
Oh yeah, definitely. When you run that flour through those machines, man, it just
Eats it up,
murders it.
Yeah, I used one for the first
time.
time.
Nice quality dry, and it tightens itself up really nice, and you hand trim that down. That's picturesque, man. That's what everybody wants. Like they want to, everything to me, everything looks better in its natural state anyways. When a bud looks like an acorn, it's perfectly, symmetric, almost looking like a damn pyramid. Someone trimmed the shit out of it. When you see some lumps in it and some, the actual formation of the flower like it was in its natural state, to me, that's night and day difference. Night and day.
And beauty.
What are some of your favorite strains to grow and your favorite strains to smoke?
Well, really, as far as right now, there's some. One's called Chosen One. That's a really good one. This other one, it's called Bubblegum Boogie. That's a raspberry boogie crossed with Indiana bubblegum. Purple. It's really good. This Glucky strain, this Gorilla Glue crossed with Girl Scout cookies. We have a whole bunch of seeds of that. But this one variety that's coming out right now it's not a good one. It can't take the heat. It can't take, well, not the heat, but like high nutrients, anything like that, man, it just flakes. You know what I mean? So we're about to cancel that. And it's, you know, and some of the ones I wish I could get my hands on again were like some of the original G13s and some of them original Cali oranges, you know, from like the early 2000s. And what I like to smoke, honestly, I grew up in the transition from Mexican brickweed all the way up to where we're at today. So like, you know, and I've been to Jamaica and Costa Rica, and I don't judge weed necessarily so much. Like I know good quality looks a certain way, but I don't really judge it so much anymore, because you can go to places like Jamaica and Costa Rica and the shit looks like some brown, you know, old brickweed basically, you know, and you smoke it, you sure as enough you get high, you know. But like nowadays, there's so many varieties that, you know, every week there's something new. So I'm more of an indica guy, I'll tell you that. You know, I'm more of a couch lot guy compared to the sativa. But yeah, I mean, really, honestly, I can't even like, I named off some things, but like, I mean, I love it all. Like everything to do with cannabis, every strain. If someone's like, this strain sucks, I can barely get it to do something, I was always like, but let me give it a shot, you know? Like, so I just love everything that has to do with cannabis, to be honest. Smoke it all, whatever.
That's exactly what I hear from you, brother. And you know what? You can join everybody on this panel and in our chat. We all feel the same way. And I really think it's cool coming from you because you're coming from the commercial aspect. And from commercially, my question could have been different to you. My question could have been, what strain makes you the most money? But you didn't go anywhere near there. You went to strains that you genuinely have a love and feeling for, and that's what you were going to be proud to produce and sell at a fair market level, or however it works, free enterprise. And that's cool, because you could have said, well, we can blow out the B strain and maybe add $5 to that, and when we go to our board of directors, they'll be so proud of us. We'll get that big fat bonus check. And but anyways, that's pretty cool. And I want, before you leave us, make sure you give a plug to your company. I see you're on here, Fox River Gardens. You can also plug them and give us a little bit of their background too.
You're not on Cannabis, right?
Make you the biggest money, though. I'm curious. What strain does make the biggest money?
Honestly, when it comes to cannabis, like we all know, what strain makes the most money is the one you can grow the best.
Right.
Because you know what? I could give you the same strain. You could put it in a different different facility or whatever. There's so many, there's so many variables to this.
That's true.
It's all about the genetics. If it's not stacking, you know what I mean? And you got, no matter what you're doing, you got 5 inches in between each bud, like you got to get different strains, you know what I mean? And the one thing that I can't wait to get into is doing some breeding, to be honest.
Me too, but I'm a little ways away from that yet. I'm just now getting to a bigger facility. So
yeah, the best thing about breeding though is you could do it in a, the size of a room of a bathroom.
Yep. Build a little tent or something.
Yeah. Just away from everything else.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But honestly, like a lot of these hybrid strains that are out here now, man, dude, everything's producing. Like, I mean, like there's almost not even shitty strains no more,
What genetics
so much
do you
going
like
on.
to use?
What's that?
What genetic lines do you like to use?
Well, you mean as far as like the company?
Yeah.
Or, well,
yeah.
For us,
line?
we always been, just, I'm a seed collector. I'm not so much a seed buyer, like throughout the times, you know, I've gotten a lot of packs from like California and stuff like that. But you know, I mean, we're almost running into the era where everything's gonna be crossed with cookies eventually. Sorry, I gotta let my dog out here. It's freaking out.
Yeah, it does seem like that though with the cookies.
Yeah. But you know, we're gonna but as far as like, you know, genetics and strains, I think that you know, it's really just a matter of preference. You know what I mean? Because the quality in everything like every genetics that's out there, everything we see, it's all the same. Like the same quality is pretty much coming out. You know what I mean? Because like the strain level game is just, it's increasing so much that like, no matter who gets the seed and who's growing it, no matter what, like it's all, you know, one step off of the next. So like, you know, we're just not seeing like that low producing plant and that low THC count plant that we were seeing like in the early 2000s. You know, like it almost don't even exist now.
So I wasn't here in the beginning. What exactly? So they said you were like the you run a big facility then? Is that what? I wasn't here in the beginning, so I kind of missed the introduction.
No. We're in the process of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I'm a real hands-on person. So like, not only did I write a lot of the application, but I also understand cultivation. I did, you know, help do all the build out. You know, like I just didn't hire people to do all this stuff. So like, I actually like, you know, if somebody wants to ask questions about certain things when it comes to like bigger cultivation stuff like that, I actually know, because I'm the one that like helped figure out the lights and stuff like that.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, so we're in the process of, we got application in for craft grow in a dispensary in Illinois, and then we got a application over in Detroit for dispensary. We did one of the Detroit legacy programs.
So
you're familiar with that?
When you say craft dispensary, those are combined. Is that correct? I'm not really familiar with all your laws.
Yeah, so in Illinois, they're not combined, but actually our goal is to be the first craft grow dispensary under one roof.
So you'll just sell your strain under that one roof? Or you'll be able to...
because Illinois, you have to have, you can only carry, even if you have it combined like that, you can only carry 30% of your own product.
Yeah. I tell you, I won't rest until it becomes something like Fluffy's looking at doing. And I want to see us all to have little mom and pop operations where on the weekend, if you want, you can take it up to the end of the road and sell it off the street side. You know, that's my vision. That's my vision.
Yeah, my vision would be like all of us, people like us, man, and you know, everywhere around the United States to be, you know, the mom and pop shops. And like, you know, I have my shop, but I also got Profit, I got Fluffkins, I got Squishies in there. You also got my stuff in your areas that I'm not in, so we can just all, you know, and make a living, man, and put the best product in the world out there. You know what I mean? Like, I hope someday it comes to where, you know, like, you know, our Michigan Grow Bros, you know, all them people, you know, like getting their stuff out here, and we can give them stuff, you know what I mean? Like just everywhere, man, you know. I feel like, I hope it comes to that someday. And I feel if enough of us can get together and unite and create small craft and maybe caregiving services and stuff like that, I don't think the big people will ever be able to get in, you know, as long as we're around and we can keep that going, you know. But that's just my own preferable opinion and how I feel. So
absolutely, man. And I think the key thing you said was produce the best. Produce the best.
Yeah, and I think for affordable price too, man, because you know there's a lot of low income and people out there with medical disabilities and things that can't afford these fucking prices, even with medical discounts, and you know what I mean. So, you know, I don't know. I just feel like that's not there. It's not enough yet. And I hope it comes to that eventually,
Yep, yep.
I
And the
agree.
key
Well,
that you said was, and still make a living, make a little bit of a living doing that. No,
Yeah.
no
Hey,
apology.
man, I would love my bills to get paid and maybe take a vacation or two a year and then, be able to maybe pay someone, hey, can you watch over the girl? I want to go on vacation with my family for a couple of weeks because, I don't need to make fucking 6 figures a year. I don't need that, man. If I'm making 70, 80K a year to pay for all my bills and then have that extra money. So if anything goes wrong with the girl, it can be paid for. Or, hey, extra money, let's go on vacation. Let's do something. Let's enjoy it. I don't need to make millions, man, and for me, I just want to get my name in my product and the pride and care that I take out there to be able to hopefully help many, 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 many people, that's what I want to do, and I
Right
would
on.
die fucking peacefully and happily, man. Believe me.
I'm
know?
with you on
That's
that,
a great
bro.
grassroots.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
If you
100%.
want to keep it going, basically all of us that have kids, once they get that age, get them legal and teach
Yeah,
it.
man.
You got to spread it to the next,
Yeah, I
to the
I got
next, and
no
to the
kids,
next, man.
unfortunately, but I'm trying to get, family, nieces and nephews to, just keep that around and teach them. So God forbid, when my time does come, if this all comes above and lifts up, and they can always have something to keep on going, like you said, Prophet,
Yeah, 2 more
Have
years, I'm
people.
dragging mine in.
Yeah, man.
So
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
And here's the thing too. There's always going to be room in the industry for people like yourself, Sal, because not everybody has the passion that we have and wants to grow our own medicine. Proof in point is in Canada. Each and every one of us is entitled to grow 4 plants per family. And I thought this was just incredible when it happened. But guess what? It's just not happening. I recently worked with a friend in his grow shop for a year or so, and I thought that there would be that the 4-foot tents would be flying off the shelves, and I don't think I sold one in the year.
Yeah, come on now. Yeah, I mean, we all know that the general population is just getting lazier and lazier. I mean, look at everything we can do. I mean, you go out, all of us are probably slightly guilty of doing it. Is I got a spot, where I grow veggies, but I guarantee you, I still go out and I buy all the same veggies that I can grow or do grow, or because one, I'm either too lazy to do enough, or two, it's not the right times. There's always going to be people who want it, and there's always going to be people who are too lazy to do it. So there's always going to be a place that's open for Walmart, cannabis, just shit that's cheap that'll do the job and it doesn't matter. And then there's always going to be a place for the craft people who want good quality medicine that just tastes great. There's room for everybody. We just need to, everything needs to level out so that we can all do our thing.
One thing I noticed too, and with the medical patients when it comes to growing their own, is that it sounds easy. It looks easy when you watch YouTube videos, you know what I mean? But you just nailed it. It's that laziness is like, I tell everyone, your first crop you grow will probably be the best one you ever grow. And they say, well, why is that? I say, because you're going to have so meticulous. You're going to be looking over every little thing. Everything's going to be perfect. Your second, third, fourth grow is that your room's going to get dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, and you're going to get lazier and lazier and lazier. Your plants are going to be more stressed. It's that's 100% true. So
I agree with that. Man. Absolutely.
I think
I noticed that, not real quick. I noticed for myself out here, just health wise, man, it's either they don't want to put the work in because they're lazy, or yeah. And then once they see like, oh shit, I gotta do all of this and I'm not even gonna make money until then, like, oh fuck this, man. And then they're knocking on the door when they know fucking harvest time is. It's like, it's like, fuck you, man. No, dude, it sucks. It fucking sucks, man.
I laughed years ago. Maybe it was like the Dude Grow show or something. Somebody was talking about when the industry first started kicking off, and people could in California, Colorado, Washington could start growing and stuff for themselves. then all of a sudden there was this like influx of grow lights and tents in like pawn shops and things because people thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get in on it. And then all of a sudden, all right, this is work, or, I got to pay attention to this shit. So, people thought it was great. They put thousands of dollars into it right away and then realized that they actually have to do something. It doesn't just take care of itself in the basement. You actually have to take care of it. But, we don't have to wait for, like I think maybe Prophet was just saying, he's going to teach his one of his children or something when it gets legal. But fuck, you ain't got to start that way, man. Start with your kids. Start, going out in the garden, teach them how to grow a tomato, teach them how to grow a pepper, a watermelon. Find their favorite. Jesus Christ. But yeah, find their favorite fruit. Grow that for them. Make them grow it. Get them out there. Show them it's not something lame and it's not just work. There's something at the end of the road. And I mean, I didn't come into this as a cannabis grower per se. I came into this as a gardener, general gardener. I enjoyed growing hot peppers, so I took a lot of time and effort into those. But I mean, I grew everything, and that's what we need to do, because the food we're buying isn't good for us anymore. So take care of your land, put some nutrients in your land, take care of, the plants that are coming out of it, and that will start taking care of you. Grow healthy food so that you can be healthy. And
I couldn't grow shit until I grew cannabis, dude. Like I could not grow plants whatsoever. I killed everything. And then I learned how to grow cannabis, and now I can grow damn near anything.
Exactly. Well, that was your gateway, but now you know how, and you probably know a better way to teach somebody how to grow something else other than cannabis. You know what I mean? So that's an important part. I just think, we should all be teaching. We shouldn't just say, hey, it's cannabis. It's a plant. Get out there and, give your kid a damn Venus flytrap and give them the information on how to take care of something. It's the same thing as having a pet, really. They all want dogs. Teach them how to take care of a damn, ficus first.
Yeah, not to interrupt, but yeah, I found these, dude. I got it started young, man. My dad and parents just growing your own stuff, veggies. I was behind the house. I grew up, man. I just got this last week from my father. He found it. I was like, holy shit, man. It's just like, and then the guy next to me, next 2 houses to me that my parents hated, he started teaching me how to grow cannabis at fucking 13 years old, So it's, I don't know, man, and then just goes back to, you see the new generation. I don't see that. The new generation, I don't see that anymore, man. You don't see that shit,
I got some pictures just like that, bro. I was probably about the same age helping my grandpa plant tomatoes and corn, sweet corn, and peppers, cucumbers. God, man, everything, squash.
Yeah, I'll have to.
No.
Hell yeah, man. I'll have to take a picture. There's in that same spot, there's a fucking Christmas tree I planted. It was like this fucking big, and it's still fucking there. When I last time I was seeing my father last weekend, it's still fucking there. I'll have to take some shots, man. And it's in the same area. It's fucking crazy.
That's awesome.
Because my dad, he's 70 something, but he's out in the garden, man, 24/7 in the summer. He don't stop.
I think if anything, the recent pandemic actually, taught us all something. And it's something that was passed down through my family because, my family, like probably a lot of ours, are, we're middle class. We're not wealthy by any means. We struggle to get everything we have, so in the Depression, my family learned to grow food. They learned to self-sustain, and that was passed down through everybody in my family. We've been taught to grow, whether we paid attention or not. That wasn't always the case, but we were taught to kind of fend for ourselves, to grow our food, to do this, to can and jar and pickle and do all these things so that you can grow in overabundance. So you can do that, overgrow and store it and save it, have it all by. And the pandemic, I think, taught a lot of people, the generations that had it really easy for a really long time, that holy shit happens. And, you got to be able to sustain yourself after all this happens. So, learn to grow, learn to bake, the whole sourdough thing, the everybody's growing thing, everybody's pickling and canning thing. It's a good thing that everybody started to figure this shit out, because we need to be a little more self-sufficient than what we are. So I was kind of interested to see, that a lot of people finally took a lot of this on. Makes me happy.
I hate to admit it, but I learned a lot of cool shit from YouTube. Like, people will sit there and bust YouTube's balls, but I swear to God, there's a lot of info on that. And I took in a lot of info on YouTube during, on how to grow, different ways to grow, just a lot of seminars on, nutrient-based shit. So, I mean, it's a plethora of knowledge, and I try to take advantage of as much knowledge as I can. I'm a knowledge junkie.
That's what I learned most of my shit too, bro. I mean, I didn't know a damn thing when it came to growing, 3 years ago, but I just went to the books, pretty much, and hit the books as much as I could and asked a lot of questions. And I still continue to do that, to this day. I'm not a fucking pro, that's for sure. But I feel like I'm in a pro's position with a fucking beginner knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm still trying. That's why I still ask so many fucking questions,
Yeah, that's a thing, that I think is super cool, that you said you went to the books and stuff, and I think eventually what ends up happening is, right, we all look, originally for, the Cannabis Growers Guide, and the Growers Bible, all that stuff. But then you start realizing, I think, guys like me, or home growers, stuff like that. Abolish does a great thing. He calls it like the frugal force, and we start looking at how to save money. I mean, if I look at the guys who are like hobby level pepper growers, or, gardeners, these guys aren't spending the outrageous amount of money that we are to do these plants. So you finally start, veering off into other gardening, because you're not listening to, all these gardeners aren't having all these problems that we're having, because we're overthinking the hell out of this shit, So it's a good way to, start looking into the books, start looking into other gardening techniques that people do, and get away from also not just thinking that it's just cannabis, I mean, I love my cannabis, and that's my favorite thing to grow, but I don't think we all have it right. I don't do things that normal cannabis growers grow. I grow the way I grow, and I can do that without ever even seeing a single person who grows cannabis do this. I can do it with that. So, go out and obtain that information from everybody. Don't just look at the gardeners that are doing cannabis gardens. Go look at these guys doing crazy plants and see how they're taking care of it. Go look at these guys who are doing the extreme budget grows, where they're going out and, the field and just chopping down weeds and shit and fermenting them, and making fertilizer out of it. Go check this shit out, and also check out how the high level guys do it. You know what I mean? Because it's knowledge you should have. You need to know how to do all this shit. And for guys, like Indica Bee, like Squishy Bob, you're getting into the thing. If you want to say, up the value of yourself in this, you need to know how to run a living soil. You need to know how to run a hydro system. You need to know what the, temperatures in the whole building need to be like. You can adjust these things, as the large scale cannabis growers, they've got all this shit nailed down into these weird, it's going to be done this way and this way and this way, and there's no other deviation. And I know they're wasting a lot of money. There's guys who go in to consult for them all the time that are wasting it. They're wasting a shit ton of money. So, just getting the knowledge and having that knowledge on all of this, it increases your value if you want to be in this space. So you should do it, and don't just look into cannabis. Look how the tomato growers in Norway, or like the Dutch are famous for their tomatoes and shit. The way they grow and all that. Look at the way they set up those systems. We can set ours up the exact same way. A lot of the a lot of the tomato growers and stuff are the ones who are knocking down their greenhouses to start growing cannabis. So, there's very little to change, in the difference between those plants on the large scale. So get that information.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's why I'm so grateful for what we have going on right here. And to put a little plug in for 420, we're going to be back. It'll be 8 o'clock. Let me stick with Pacific time, the one I know. No,
Rick,
wait.
Salvatore's got to actually take off. I was going to let him bounce on and say out and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tell us where we can find you. And
you're not a cannabis, right?
No. First off, thanks for having me. Very insightful conversation. I love hanging out with guys like you. Makes me feel right at home. So, but yeah, pretty much on social medias, My Cannabis Journey 420, and then on LinkedIn, Fox River Gardens, or my name, be the easiest way to get a hold of me or see what I got going on. I'm pretty active on my LinkedIn. So, yeah, but that's about it for now. So Fox River Gardens is, the company that's we're gonna try to get off the ground here and really make some things happen. So. And this is just part of the movement. So I really appreciate you guys having me.
Well, we wish
Good
you
luck
luck,
to you,
man.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Wish you all the luck in the world, all your endeavors, man.
Awesome. Same to all you guys. I'm gonna try to figure out where everybody's at and link up with you guys somehow, some way. So
appreciate you dropping by, man.
Oh yeah, man. Good luck.
Yeah,
brother.
anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
man.
Yeah. Okay. Back to my cheap plug.
Plug
there.
away.
Yeah, 420. We got a big giveaway, and Abolish is going to be joining us as our special guest. Abolish from Michigan Bros Grow Show. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm very stoked with that one. Me and him, we think a lot, and I'm excited. Like bees and stuff with fish. Abolish is big. So yeah, I'm super stoked to have him on as well. And man, you guys have put together one hell of a giveaway. So anybody who is sticking around right now, there is going to be one hell of a giveaway, and you're gonna want to be around for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Drizzt is looking after it, and he's left us. But if I'm not mistaken, I think there's at least 12 packs of seeds.
Hey, don't give them too much. You want to keep them wanting. You want them to come back for more. And tell them all about it.
Are we supposed to send them to him, or because he hasn't asked me for anything?
Probably details we can figure out. In the next day.
In a wild
guess, we can figure something out in a day. Okay, sure. Yep.
Well, I'll figure it out right now. Send them all to Drizzt. Done.
There you go.
And then let him sort it all out. That sounds like a pretty easy plan to me.
Hey, I don't remember who started coordinated it, but between bees and Drizzt, I figure he's the producer and Drizzt was taking over the giveaway. I figure they better figure the hell out.
Hey, Drizzt jumped in like a bull and was just like, "We got this," and I was like, "All right, he's on it." Cheers. I have no fucking idea.
If anybody's going to be in Oklahoma around like May 20, I think it's 27th, 28th, there's an expo in Oklahoma City that I'm going to be going to. So just wanted to, put that out there. If anybody that's on Cannabis, they're going to be out there. I want to come say, hey, man, I'm going to be there. So
hell yeah, man.
Like to see anybody, man. Anybody wants to come say, hey, I'm glad to chat,
Yeah,
that's cool. You should probably tell some of those people. I know there's a bunch of good dudes out there in Oklahoma that are on Cannabis,
right?
That I see following in our group of people quite a bit. So post that up. I bet you can meet a bunch of cool people.
Yeah, I hope so. there was supposed to be something that was actually this weekend, and we were going to fly down, but my ID's not valid, so I couldn't get a ticket right now because all this shit with the Secretary of State and all this stuff going on. So unfortunately, it messed it up. But May, hopefully, if I don't have it, set up by then I'm just going to drive. So, and me and my partner are going down there to hopefully go and I know Jinx Proof and shit's supposed to be there, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. Be a cool trip.
So I want to thank you fellas and everybody in chat for sharing this time with me. I got to get going here, but look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.
Hell yeah. I got to get going myself too, guys. I got a ton to do downstairs.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, love y'all.
See you, Rick. See you, Andy Kabee.
All right, love you guys. Seeing you. Good seeing everybody in the chat this morning. And yeah, have a good rest of your day, guys. I love you.
You too,
well, it's going to be great. You know what's going to end up happening? We're all going to leave. Profit's gone. So it's just going to be a YouTube fucking live stream of nothing but profits.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to stay and talk chat for a minute while profits wait. Hey, you guys have a good day. Have a good day, Indica. Have a good day, Squishy.
You, buddy.
What's going on, chat? Fucking lobster. And you guys are awesome. You know what? I just want to tell everybody in the chat, you guys are fucking cool as shit. And I'm glad you guys show up. We like to try to pass on the knowledge to everybody. Sometimes we don't get out so much knowledge, but we do what we can. Sometimes we get on the topic of cannabis. It's fun.
We have fun, man. You guys have a good one. I'm going to take off too, man.
Yeah, brother. You have a good one, Squishy.
You too, buddy. Tell Prophet I said hello and later.
Will do. Am I back to 100%? No, I am not. Hopefully in May, I get my work released for them to send me back. And then I still won't be 100%, but feel pretty good. So I'm ready to get back to work. It's driving me crazy.
What the hell happened?
Oh man, we were all gonna deuce out and just leave you there.
That's fine. I was like, all I did was take a piss and get a cup of coffee. Holy shit! You people fell apart that quick.
I decided to start talking to chat because I'm an idiot. So.
Yeah, is there? All right, shit. Who's in chat?
It looks like Abolish is still here. Lobster's still here. Bees is still here. Rick said hi for a second. Supreme looks like he's still here.
Nice. We should just have them if they want. Come on. I mean, it's not like there's anything else going on. We just can't have Abolish now because we're gonna hit them with questions in like a day or two. So,
I know, right?
Can't do that. That would be unfair.
So hey, how do you like those packages?
Oh my god, dude, they're amazing. Thank you. And I actually didn't mind your gummies, man. Like, I think they're probably around the same potency, but if you think about it, yours are about a quarter the size of mine.
Yeah, there's a small little guy, so you got to take them like 3 or 4 at a time. But I figure they're probably 7 to 10 milligrams a piece for each little little bear. So they're all right, but it was the first time I kind of nailed the flavor and the taste. And
no, you did great. The texture was good. All of it was good. It's nice to be able to eat a handful of them and not actually put myself out, as opposed to like mine. I got to limit mine, but I only got so many small trays.
That was the thing. I was like, I kind of like the idea of the little gummy because I like to just sit around and eat fucking gummies.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to be a slobbering, ridiculous mess because I ate 20 fucking gummies while I was watching the show.
Don't want to be a Johnny.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so. And the flower, I'm glad you liked the flower. I think you said you tried the Purple Fantasy #1 first.
Yeah, me and my dad were lit. I think the night of the show, actually, I showed up that day. So that whole night I was pretty lit off of mostly your stuff and a couple of Wax and Shadow.
That's good, man. I'm glad you were enjoying it.
I appreciate it.
Hawaiian today, huh? Is that what you got into today? Was the Hawaiian?
Yeah, actually, I smoked a couple of bong rips of that, so I've been pretty wrecked. And then there's one of these, man, that, hold on, let me see. There's one that just has this amazing smell to it.
I bet that's the vape shop.
That might be. This one kind of got a really, the Hawaiian kind of got a, not a skunk, but it's definitely got a pungent to it. Hold on.
Yeah.
I gotta find my thing. There it is. I think my friend was just calling me, asking me if I want to go to work. I just ignored him.
There you go. It's Sunday, man. We all just rest and get stoned on Sunday.
All right, this is the KF. Yeah, that's the one. It's got a nice, I think it's fruity smell to it. And wait, maybe it's the VS. Is that a VS right there? This might be this one.
Okay, yeah, the VS is,
Yeah.
I call it vape shop. It's just some damn bag seed. A buddy of mine threw me, and he worked in a vape shop, so I call it vape shop. But,
it stinks, man. It's not bad at all.
Dude, it's diesel-y, it's citrusy, it's loud as fuck.
I smoked a blunt with 3 people, and we were fucking, me, my dad, and his friend, man, and we were wrecked. I was
that one's been
impressed.
hit or miss for everybody. Everybody is either on absolutely one side of the fence on that one, or they're like, it doesn't hit them. They don't like the flavor. It's like a combo of both things at one time for everybody who's had it. They either completely hate it or completely love it.
Oh my God, it's in the headband category. Like ever since that show, man, I mentioned headband. I've had a few people out of nowhere just be like, I hate headband, and I'm like, I liked it. Like, you know, like there's some kind of army out there that just really doesn't like headband, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that's funny. And I mean, I know the exact feeling he's talking about. I work in the nuclear. I work in refineries, gas and fuel refineries. And I wear a lot of respirators. And motherfucker, they will give you the worst headache in the world. But I can't say headbands ever done that to me.
I felt as though it was like a comforting wrap, more like than like a tightening.
More like Yeah, more like like a warm face mask that's got some weight to it.
My friends actually explained that it was like he walked through a spider web that went across his face, like just you know how like you'll occasionally be walking and then like all of a sudden you walk through like the web of the spider and you're like, ah, shit, I got a web in my, that's how he said he felt like that was kind of like him walking through a web, And I was like, yeah, I guess I felt more of my brain was wrapped in a blanket feeling,
Yeah. So since we have time and there's a lot going on, so Abolish, what's the difference between the 707
818?
Yeah,
the 707 and 818.
He doesn't like the 707 or whatever.
He didn't like the 707? I didn't mind it, but I got the 808. Oh, he don't like headband.
I don't know what Hart and friggin' bees are talking about, man.
Butt chugging Mountain Dew.
Butt chugging Mountain Dew and getting tackled naked. I don't know.
Oh, it seems Abolished don't like any of them. He don't like any of the headbands Abolished.
Yeah, see, he's on there then.
Yeah, see, there's an army out there that just doesn't like headband. They're gonna like subconsciously like brainwash me and make me think like when I do harvest and I smoke it, I'm gonna be like, oh, shit sucks. Damn it.
Yeah, see, now I typically, I don't really go for the stuff that's super heady, like in my goddamn head, kind of makes you foggy and stuff. I'm more of a body high kind of guy. That's what I really enjoy, is to just feel like I'm melting. But I've never found one that I just, that was offensive, except for the super like uppity strains, the ones that really get you moving, the ones that really get you tense. Those are the ones that I gotta be careful with.
Getting you too energetic.
Yeah. We don't need. Yeah, we don't need an energetic buzz. That's not a thing you want, man. I try to keep myself chill and on fucking level because
See, I
I'm
end
like,
up smoking it, and then like an hour later, I'm like, I need to smoke again, as opposed to like a heavy indica. I could smoke it and chill out, in a couple hours, come back into it.
yeah, I mean, just recently, well, you just tried it. That Purple Fantasy is pretty heavy indica. It now
Is it?
most people ride in the couch and puts them there for a good while. And me, that's kind of like my daytime. I just get up and go smoke. So, if you can imagine those heavy indicas that just put your ass right down, those are the ones that I like to start my day with so I can be on a nice level.
I
And I
find
don't
it
want
easier to function with society if I have to go out that way.
yeah,
I can wait
yeah,
in line, just be like, rather than
yeah,
frustrated,
yeah. You don't want anxious. You don't want an
Yeah.
anxious fluff behind you in
You
at the
don't want
store,
it.
dude. No.
He's like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He'll just fucking start going ballistic.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, we all kind of got our little chuckle with, that who will not be named. But right, I can see myself doing one of these a lot. I get very squirrel shiny. Ooh, what's up? Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Thorazine.
yeah, yeah. So I got to keep myself pretty much on the low side so I can function and not. And I get very anxious, and when I get anxious, I get irritated. When I get irritated, I don't really have a filter. And
See, and that helps me keep my filter, because like I'll literally have a conversation with a few of myself and debate whether or not I should say what I'm really thinking before actually just blurting it out. So it's and by the time I'm done talking about it with myself, it's kind of passed, and things are moving along, so it's better off that way.
yeah. And Bees is absolutely right. I would try to fight people for fun. I used to be that guy, but that's years in the past.
Yeah.
And this last surgery, it put me down for the count.
Dude,
Man,
I'm hurting myself going to bed. I wake up and my
yeah,
neck's stiff, and I'm like, what the fuck did I do myself? All I did was go to sleep. Like,
I'm currently worried about a hard cough or a sneeze, like just taking me out. So, yeah, there's not going to be any fights anymore. But if you would have even as little as 3 years ago, that's exactly what I would do. Oh, fighting was so fun. But yeah. So I stay on the indica for those reasons. Every once in a while, I get on the sativa. I think it's fun. Usually, I don't know. I think it's weird. I get on the sativa when I drink. So I'll be, drinking my whiskey, and that's when I want my sativas because it gets me giggly as shit, like almost like microdose mushroom level fucking giggly.
wow.
Yeah, man. I start thinking shit's real funny for no reason.
See, I don't come across indicas because everybody I know that grows is like a 50-50, or, I mean, sativas, or a 50-50, or a indica dominant. I believe the ones that I was calling the Oblivious Portuguese, but now I'm calling Sky Rizzy because I have no idea what the name is, that I get from my friends that don't have the clue what the name is. They have a really good taste to it, but like it has that effect where it's like I gotta smoke another one way sooner than I should, and I got a feeling that's probably sativas that they're getting. So if I have any access, it's to sativa. I'm not 100% sure it's a sativa, but it feels like a sativa. But usually it's 50-50 or indica dominant. That's all I have access to unless I go to a dispensary.
I don't know if I'm 100% on the whole sativa. I mean, so the plant, all right, I get it. There's a sativa, we call it the sativa structure and the indica structure, but I don't really prescribe to the sativa specifically has that, upward effect, and the indica has that. I don't really prescribe to that because I've had sativas that'll just knock me straight the hell out. You know what I mean? And I've had indicas that get me very, very anxious. But I think part of it's in the growth. I think a lot of it's in when we pull it in, our trichomes are cloudy, clear, amber. I think it's a lot of that, and that's how I grow. And so I do kind of, maybe there is a little bit of that uppity effect generally to a sativa. So when I grow them, I grow out sativas very long, like very long. So I'm going, it takes a long time for a 100% sativa to amber out or
Yeah.
even finish. You know what I mean? So when you take those long term and try to go towards that amber effect, I like that sedative effect. Then I'm growing one of them some bitches for 90 fucking days indoors, and it's ridiculous.
Well, the THC levels too, like
100
that's
days
like
even.
some people will like look for those high ones, and I did 30% THC Mickey Kush, which was sativa dominant, and it seems like the higher THC are the sativa ones, but like you can give me a 16 or a 20% that's an indica dominant, and I'll get higher off that 30% sativa completely. Like that's just from what I've learned. Like the content doesn't really matter, or the THC percentage from what I can, me personally. Like I said, I've gotten stoner off a more indica dominant with a lower THC count than I have with a higher THC count sativa dominant.
Yeah, we've got some pre-98 Bubba down here in the local dispensaries, and I mean it's not great, but it's pre-98 Bubba, so it's
I love
good
Bubba.
regardless, right? But right, it's testing out at like 19% THC and I don't know, like 3 to 5% CBD, and people around here are turning their noses up at that because it's got CBD and it's got a low THC, but that shit will wreck your ass. I mean, it's lacking in the just because it's dispensary weed. It's lacking in a little bit of flavor. It's lacking in it's a little bit dry, but it's not terrible smoke. I mean, if I had to, I would go out and purchase.
I mean, like I said, once they put the THC percentage on things, it was like a lot of my friends are just straight up high percentage THC obsessed junkies. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's not gonna do exactly what you think. Like, oh, I'll only have to smoke half of what I smoke because if the 15 or like I said, a 16 gets you this high, then a 28's got to get me like twice as high. I'm like, that's not true. It's not how that works.
And then, looking at pictures and stuff ruins people because I mean, like this picture here behind me, this is good stuff. It's great smoke, but I've had stuff that does not look that nice. That pre-98 Bubba does not look like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like that. And that pre-98 Bubba is, I wouldn't say it's comparable to this, not, but it'll give you a good effect out of it, and it doesn't look super top shelf, and it doesn't have that super high trichome content. But it doesn't need it. It's got that punch, I don't know if it's terpenes, if it's the combination of them, if it's the way they pulled it, but.
Well, that is an indica dominant strain, correct? If I remember correctly.
I believe so.
Yeah, the Bubba. So, I mean, I think it's just the indica, man. That's just my personal opinion. Like, it just happens to hit that particular receptor in the brain that does that, as opposed to the sativa. I mean, you'd have to slice it open and like actually research into the brain, but there's receptors for all drugs. So there's THC receptors, but the question is, are there indica receptors and sativa receptors inside those THC receptors? I guess that'd be a question I'd be curious about.
Well, and I mean, they're coming up with the fact that I think not everybody has the same receptors. I don't think,
That's true too.
The different strains for different brains, so
some non-paranoid strains will make people fucking paranoid, and vice versa.
Yeah, and I mean, there's you get across to the people who have, who can't drizzt it. He can't have edibles. It doesn't do anything for him.
My dad too.
I'd like to see a study on some of those guys to see if they're getting a benefit from taking, even though they're not getting a medicinal effect from it. If they're getting any benefit from taking,
it'd be like taking a multivitamin. It's still a medicine. It's still going to do something for you. You're ingesting it, but you're just not getting the high.
But do you think they're getting the same effect? Because I mean, they're obviously missing something about it. So do you think those people are getting the same
I
effect?
think they're lacking the receptors to do that, but they can get stoned. So I mean,
I don't know, because I mean, if you are, so they, it's supposedly the, you know, the THC that hits our receptors that, you know, gives us the euphoric high and all that. That's what we've been taught to understand. And if they're not processing the THC inside their liver, you know, or if it's not coming out, then are they getting that medicinal effect, or is it just, so like, if somebody's not noticing an effect off of it, should that not be used as their medicine? Because, or they get more of an effect, like maybe something super positive is happening and they need or should be taking edibles more often.
because they're absorbing everything. The excess could be the high.
Yeah, so you know, I would love to start seeing these studies come out on the medicinal effect of what's happening with.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, and especially, you know, when it starts breaking it down, you know, we can start breaking down the strains by the terpene profiles, or we can start genetically steering our plants towards specific medicine, and that'd be, you know, that, like I said earlier, it was going to be, you know, it's going to be how the medical field takes it over. You know, they're going to start steering it. So
that'd be like if the holistics field got a scientific upgrade and was allowed like access to real labs. That would be the only way we'd be able to do this, as opposed to pharmaceutical medicine testing, having access to labs and all this shit. A holistic medication, which is what this is, would have to have access to. You'd have to have somebody that could fund these machines that are needed to be able to make these tests happen. If the pharmaceutical or whatever didn't want to do it, because you need those. That's what you need. I mean, you could try to go by observation, but I mean, realistically, you don't know what's going on in the body unless you could scan it, test blood, and everything, and that's where shit gets expensive.
Right. Well, and Lobster here said he heard that, you know, they may lack an enzyme to do that. Well, is that enzyme important to the breakdown of it, you know, or
is missing that enzyme causing an issue? Can we add that enzyme, fix the problem that they're originally having, which is why they're taking the cannabis?
Is it, hey, I ate fucking 1,500 milligrams. I don't feel a damn thing. I might be missing this enzyme, which might lead to the detection of an early problem.
Does he know the name of the enzyme?
No, I don't know. Well, he didn't say.
Yeah, he didn't say. My phone's at like 10%.
Maybe. So, you know, who knows? But, you know, those are cool things to think about. You know,
that's I mean, if I had the money, I'd be totally invested in these things, you know, like a whole laboratory dedicated to medical cannabis testing. Because, I mean, there's no major side effects except for maybe somebody either A, having the munchies, B, taking a nap, or having a small freak out, you know, as opposed to other medications that they're trying to try out, which, you know, you see the commercial all the time. Side effects, uncontrollable bladders, you know, this and that, freaking muscle spasms, seizures, death. You know, there's no side effects to cannabis, and we can actually test with it without having to technically worry about any side effects.
You know, I think the only thing I can say, you know, there's one side effect to smoking or using cannabis, and that's just the stigma of being a stoner, and some of the actual stoner things that come along with it. Because let's be honest, sometimes we do a lot of stoner shit, and it is because.
I mean, is it because of that, or are we just like, you know?
We're all the same.
Sure, attention span.
Every one of us stoners are just completely the same, and we all do that same weird shit. There's got to be some common connection.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's some well put together stoners though. Like, I met some people that are like, they're stoners, but they're OCD, man, and like, you would never believe that they got as high as they did because they're so organized. They got everything down, you know. Envious of those people, but I'm like, you're making this look hard.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, hurting, wouldn't that be a good thing to know? You know, if, oh shit, you know, these 1,000 milligrams of edibles didn't do a goddamn thing to me. And I know it's a good edible because You know, the dude sitting next to me ate like the corner off of it, fuck him up for a week. You know, but now I'm not. So maybe it is something, or maybe like I said, maybe you should be taking it more often because it's doing something positive to you.
Well, I get high off them, so it's not a sign of cancer. So you know that's a plus. At least we know it's not that, so we can eliminate that off of there. My dad's
Yeah, I mean,
diabetic. My dad is a diabetic, so maybe we should ask Dritz if he's diabetic. Maybe it's something to do with the intake of insulin.
oh, well, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Well, what's hurting is there any diabetic properties of hurting? He said he took it 1,000 milligrams, but that would be interesting. Well, my dad is just recently kind of got some unchecked diabetes and things, so it seems to possibly run in my family because his mom did also. So, but edibles affect me fine, so that might not, or maybe it's with
but
an.
you're not full blown diabetic.
No,
No, my father is. So like
Yeah.
his shit don't work. He has to take the testing and insulin control. So that's just a thought. Like that was one of the issues he has, and he doesn't feel them.
Yeah. Well, and I was starting to think, I started seeing like a GI doctor, and they found like a little bit of fatty liver on me, which I wasn't real surprised about. But I wanted to start looking into, what cannabis can do for like fatty liver, whether like a CBD, CBG, something would help with something like that. And so I got to thinking, maybe there's an enzyme there that causes, that fat or plaque buildup on your liver.
Well, dandelion is a liver detoxifier. I'd have to look up and see what the fatty is made out of. Like, is this is it a collection of actual fat that's around the liver? I wonder if the detoxification would actually work. Like I said, a lot of natural shit, not even just cannabis, helps in the liver.
I think it would. I mean, they have like mushroom detox and stuff that are supposed to help with the fatty liver and things like that. So I do think it's more of a natural detox thing would help it out and change of diet, obviously, because there's something on there. But
has anybody ever changed their diet? I mean, once you start eating it, it's like, I want to change my diet, but I
did.
Nice.
Actually, here recently, majorly, I was a spicy, eat everything, and I eat like a fucking Mack truck. But then I got sick kind of near the beginning of COVID, and it was all GI stuff. And I've had to cut a lot of things out of my diet. I gave up Mountain Dew, which was a big thing because we all know bees love Mountain Dew. But I would make bees look like he wasn't even drinking. I mean,
Jeez.
I was going through like a case plus 2 liters of Mountain Dew a day.
And you're wondering why you might have diabetes or possibly it being a risk. I mean, I don't want to say
no shit, right?
I don't want to say anything.
Hey, I changed my life.
I mean, you had to though.
Fucking game to do it.
But those normal people that are like, I want to change my diet to say get fitter or eat healthier, just never seems to ever work out. You most people try, but it never sticks.
Yeah, and I was doing really good on my diet beforehand. Where I was eating a lot of plain foods and a lot of shit that was better for me. I was eating less calories that I really don't need. I'm not active like I used to be. When I was 30. So, there's a lot of things that need to be changed up, but, and I did really good at the beginning, and then now I'm working my way back, and I'm bringing more sugar back into my life, which I need to stop. But, you do what you can do, and that's all you can do.
I need to take calories intravenously. Like I need a bag next to me, adding calories into me while I'm eating. That would definitely help.
Now, I'm wondering here, Lobster, saying like intermittent fasting. I know a lot of people say that's like, basically you do the 1 time a day eat thing. So like you would eat once in the day. Is that your intermittent motherfucker, why can't I say this word? But is that the fasting you're talking about, or are you talking more like a day or so at a time? Because for years, I've actually, I only eat once a day. And I eat a lot when I fucking.
I started eating when I got bored.
Yeah. Well, and I've noticed that I've had more health benefits by actually eating more, eating my breakfast, eating my lunch, eating my dinner, spacing out a little bit of food throughout the day rather than, doing it like I was, just one huge meal a day. But that also was, back in the day when I was working 12-hour shifts and then I was training to fight. I was fighting on the weekends, so that was just ridiculous. I needed the calories at that time to do it that way. I don't know at that time if it was good to do the fasting. I should have been eating all the time then and probably doing the fasting now, but fuck it.
I got a friend that weighs 145 pounds and he must eat like 8 or 9 times a day. It's like every 3 hours. Like,
yeah, my son's
I don't know
got a
how the
friend.
fuck he does it.
Yeah, dude's like 6'3" and he's just skinny as a rail. And I've seen the kid eat, man. It's disturbing the amount of food this kid.
This dude's only 5'9", man, and like I said, 140. And he packs a lunch if he leaves his house to hang out at my house for a few hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, really? You can't go a couple of hours? I can only imagine if this dude had to like deal with the apocalypse and couldn't go to a place to get food, he'd be dead in like 2 days of starvation or eating his neighbor.
Yeah. Oh shit. Hey, I think I gotta go today. I think I gotta go pick up my groceries.
All right, man.
So, hey, it was good. Everybody in chat, man. Peace. I love you guys.
Thanks for hanging out.
Fucking awesome. Everybody we had today. Love y'all. Have a great one.
Fluffy, I'll talk to you.
We'll talk to you, bud.
Later, guys. Thanks for joining.